and go out on the floor and play as well as they've been playing.
Greeny, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio, your smart speaker, and on the ESPN app. It's time to rise and grind. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
Fill in the blank. It's pretty simple, right? We played it as kids. We'll give you a scenario. The guys will fill in the blanks. Jay, let's start with you here. This is your wheelhouse. Blank and blank. We'll meet in the NBA Finals when you're calling it on ESPN in the studio.
The Clippers and the Toronto Raptors will meet in the NBA Finals.
Wrong LA team. Lakers and Raptors in the NBA Finals.
The answer can't be nobody. The biggest threat to the Lakers winning a title is?
Their self. No, in all honesty, I think it'd be Clippers.
I would agree. It would be the Clippers. They have the most firepower.
Yeah.
So the NBA Western Conference Finals is kind of like the NBA Finals in that way.
They can knock them off. That's the only way. If the Lakers get to the championship, LeBron will deliver.
With all due respect, the Western Conference Finals is the NBA Finals.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio, your smart speaker, or on ESPN News. Give us the baseball rivalry. St. Louis with Jack Buck and 11 titles. Chicago's Harry Carey breaking curses. Give us the arch, the ivy, and playoff intensity. Give us the Cardinals and the Cubs. Give us Sunday Night Baseball, Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Telecast presented by Taco Bell. Spain and Fitz.
There's a difference between want and need. There's a difference between ask and demand. Kevin Warren has made a statement, and through that statement, he's told everybody why there won't be football this fall in the Big Ten. But the most important part of the statement he made, it's the clear and decisive statement that the decision will not be revisited. Get comfortable right now with the concept that there won't be fall football for the Big Ten.
Spain and Fitz. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on your smart speaker or wherever you stream your audio.
Saturday, the UFC heats up with a heavyweight showdown. Former world kickboxing champion Alistair Overeem looks to get back into title contention by snapping the 6-fight win streak of surging knockout specialist Augusto Sakai. Plus, a full card of hard-hitting action. Don't miss UFC Fight Night Overeem versus Sakai. Live, only on ESPN+.
The biggest names in sports, coming to your mornings.
Bill Belichick, the 6-time Super Bowl champion, is here.
Morning, Coach Bill B.
Great to hear your voice. Congratulations on the show here, and I know you're going to provide a lot of great insight for the fans and even the people in the league. Nobody knows what's going on more than you do.
The biggest names in sports, every morning with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Padres involved in a 5th trade since Saturday and picked up an ace in the process. On this MLB trade deadline day, San Diego acquired starter Mike Clevenger from the Indians. Padres, seeking their first playoff appearance since 2006, are 5 back of the NL West leading Dodgers. Cleveland got a package of young players in return. John Thompson, the legendary Georgetown men's basketball coach, has died at the age of 78. The Hall of Famer was the first black coach to lead a team to an NCAA men's basketball championship and was a pioneer credited with opening the door for a generation of minority coaches who followed him. Our Jay Williams.
He fought for kids who didn't have the same opportunity to get them into established universities like Georgetown. He combated so much racism. He just stood for what was right. And every coach I spoke to, Coach K, Bill Self, John Calipari, they all just raved about JT.
Jay Williams of Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. The Jags waived running back Leonard Fournette, the 4th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft.
Download the DraftKings app and use code MAX to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
This is the Max.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Oh, he's already emotional inside the studio. Get the drop button ready, Coos. Welcome in on a Monday. Yannick Ngakoue, who? When did he get traded? That happened yesterday?
Yeah.
So much for that story.
It's old news, Brent.
Old news. Sorry, Jan. Love you, man.
Old news.
Appreciate all the radio content for the last year and change.
We're on to the next one.
But this is Leonard's day. Hey, Jags. Can I brush my teeth in the morning before we start this stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
I mean, why 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday? Why 7:30 on a Monday? What's going to happen tomorrow?
Who knows, man?
Most people would like to say they want to get rid of everybody in the front office.
Hey, I have a question for you, though.
What's up?
If a team's has all the characteristics right now and all the symptoms of tanking, and I've been very adamant the whole time here that I've said I don't foresee the Jacksonville Jaguars tanking. You let go of your best offensive player, arguably, and you let him go for absolutely nothing. I'm going to be honest, man. I think I have a little right to be emotional today. So guess what? I'm going to be emotional.
Yeah, the question is, are the Jags tanking? I mean, that's a serious question. If we go all the way back to the offseason moves, what did we say? We said if Leonard Fournette goes here in March, we said then that's a little bit more of an indicator that maybe they are, right? Mm-hmm. Remember those conversations? And listen, no one truly tanks in sports the way it's perceived on the outside. Miami was tanking last year, right? Miami wanted a quarterback.
Sure.
Right? No doubt.
No, absolutely.
Doubt. They won 5 games because the guy that's in charge in terms of Flores, it's like we're winning games. Like now the front office can think one way and the coaching staff and the team certainly think another way. You've played enough professional sports. Nobody's trying to lose games. They're going to go out and do their best because that's their tape and all the rest. Now, can you be set up for failure or set up for success? Well, absolutely. That comes from the front office and other things. Mm-hmm. The Jaguars right now, listen, there's no way to spin this. They are not set up for success. Even with Leonard Fournette, 2 days ago, even with the potential of Yannick Ngakoue, they really weren't set up for success. I was a little more sunshine and rainbows about the Jags doing better than the national folks thought. I thought they'd be better, but if you listen to the show now, don't read into what you think, but listen to the show. We said the ceiling for the Jags might be like, even if in a wishful thinking way, 8 games. That's the way they were built. So the Jaguars are not set up to be very good in 2020. I don't think they've ever even claimed that we're making a run at this thing in 2020. Well, now these moves, Jan not so much because they replaced Jan and that thing wasn't going to work out. And it seemed like it was in hindsight a little bit by now.
And let's put that in the back burner for later, too, because I have some thoughts about that in terms of what you got for Yannick Ngakoue.
Well, you know where I feel about that.
Exactly.
I mean, but now, at least they didn't get just the second-round pick.
Well, I mean, what? We're talking about a 4th-round, 5th-round pick? Cool.
Yeah, I know. Listen,
cool.
I'm not happy with that either. So, but
cool.
So you have Leonard Fournette, and Leonard Fournette changes the dynamic because listen, Doug Marone can't come out and say they had issues with Leonard Fournette or the culture with Leonard Fournette or they just didn't think. He has a quote, by the way, today, and you'll probably hear it, where he says, we're trying to get the best players, and we're also doing what's best for the team. Okay, well, those are 2 different things. Leonard Fournette is your best offensive player, potentially. History says your best offensive player is Leonard Fournette. He's put up the production. He's a guy people have focused on. He's definitely better than what you have in the stable of backfields. There's no way to spin that. He's better. Now, if you want to go back to the second part of Marone's statement, is he best, what's best for our team? Well, that's where you deeper dive into Leonard Fournette. Some of these things, what's going on? What's the underbelly of Fournette in that building? What's the relationship with coaches and players? Now, that might be a different thing, but they're 2 separate things is my point when Doug Marone said that today.
Brent, I don't care. I don't care if the vibe right now in the locker room is off because Leonard Fournette's doing something. Number one, here's all I have to go off right now with Leonard Fournette. He's been an outstanding citizen in the community. All right, now he's gotten a little trouble with the whole arrest thing, didn't pay his ticket. I'm not, whatever, man. Everyone's got parking tickets. I don't get paid sometimes. So I'm not going to fault him for that. So everything that I have to go off of right now is that he's fine. Okay, and if you're worried about his mentality because he doesn't get the ball enough in the red zone or he throws a fit, I would rather have that on my team than a guy's like, great, it's 3rd and 2, we were on a stretch play, we got tackled for a 2-yard loss, and now we're going to kick a field goal. I'm pumped up about it. Like, make it work. You're the coach. Establish the culture. Like, you mean to tell me that you can't handle Leonard Fournette's personality? You can't handle his fun-loving spirit 1 second and then his his will to win the next second? What are we doing here? This is professional football. You're not going to always have these guys that are perfect role models. Every single team I've been on has had some rough around the edges guys, and guess what? I don't think Leonard Fournette's even a rough around the edge kind of guy. Make it work.
Well, yeah. We listen. There is something there without reaching at specifics. We had Mark Long on a couple months ago. He got into it. There are now articles written about what some have heard in terms of late to meetings over the years and whatever it might be. I'm telling you this. I will say this. This is what I know.
Say it.
Leonard Fournette's not in that building today, and there are some folks with a little extra hop in their step.
Cool.
That's reality.
Cool. Awesome. Hey,
I'm not saying they should trade him away,
hey, go ahead
or cut him, but that's reality.
Go ahead and celebrate them, man. Go ahead and have that hop in your step because you just let go your best offensive player. And now you have who to replace him? Rock Armstead? So you mean to tell me that Leonard Fournette does not fit the system, but Rock Armstead does fit the system?
Or Devon Azigbo.
Haven't I heard for the past year or so that Rock Armstead is essentially like a Leonard Fournette Jr., right? I'm sorry. Did Rock Armstead show us something in the receiving game where I should be excited about it? Because I'm not. All right, so why all of a sudden are we comfortable now with Rock Armstead? I get Chris Thompson played in Gruden's offense. I understand that point. But why are you telling me right now that it fits the Jaguars' scheme better if Leonard Fournette's not here? Because we're talking about go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, because they don't want to tell you the real reasons.
Okay, and that's exactly my point. So unless you tell me a real reason of something happened behind the scenes, something detrimental to the team, unless you tell me that, all I have to go off of right now is what I see at your press conferences. All I have to go off of is what you issue in your statements. And what I have to go off of right now is that you cut probably your best player on offense. You didn't get anything for him. You just let him walk out the door. And now we're excited because we have other guys who are supposedly going to fit the scheme better. Fantastic.
Why do I feel like I'm being interrogated today? I feel like I'm off to an interrogation. Listen, I agree with you on a lot of things. I mean, maybe not everything.
That's fine.
But I agree with you on a lot of things. But I got a feeling this is going to be like I'm playing the position of the front office here today.
No, Brent.
And the rest. Listen, I was stunned by this today.
Yeah.
I was stunned. Listen, I like to believe I have a feeling of what's going on with the Jags. Mm-hmm. Now, listen, I make some bad predictions sometimes, absolutely. Might have some bad thoughts on it sometimes. But I sometimes have a temperature of what's going on. I brought up to you on Friday, I said, could we see even like a D.D. Westbrook?
Sure.
So it wasn't like out of this world that could we see some surprises potentially at some point in this whole changeover, this pivot that we've seen with Calais gone, A.J. Boye gone, now Ngakoue gone. But I did not see this coming is the point. And by the way, I don't think D.D. Westbrook's going anywhere either. I was just saying I was reaching for something to say what's going to surprise us.
Well,
but I did not
nothing
see
would surprise
this.
me at this point.
I did not see this. I did not see this coming this morning, 2 weeks from your opening game, your best offensive player. And we're going to get into this, okay? This is how, from Leonard Fournette's point of view, how did it get to this point? From the Jags' point of view, what does it mean? What's Shad and Tony Khan doing? What's Dave Caldwell doing? How much of a mess was this and is this? And also, I'll take it to this year's team point of view. What are they thinking in there right now? Like, if everybody on the outside world is thinking what they're thinking, what are the players internally thinking? And what does it do for really the most important commodity of the 2020 season, and that is Gardner Minshew? And we'll get into that. Does that set you up for failure if you're Gardner Minshew? Because it's really hard for me to say, well, this helps Gardner a lot. Take Leonard Fournette away.
Listen, I mean, am I frustrated right now? Absolutely. And listen, I mean, yes, I cover the Jaguars. I'm supposed to be unbiased, but I'm a former player, Brent. I know a lot of guys in that facility. And I want to see the Jacksonville Jaguars be successful. And this is a move right here that shows, you know what? We aren't concerned about winning this year. Let's go ahead and stock up. I mean, that's all I can say. Listen, I wish I could spin it and say, you know what? Let's just kind of wait and see what happens. I can't do it because I can't justify saying, you know what? We like who we got in the running back room. What did training camp tell you this year? I'm sorry, because do we have a full training camp? We have COVID-19 training camp. You can't tell anything right now in terms of what you have at running back. How many live practices have you gone? maybe 2 for the scrimmages. But you're going to sit here and tell me, we're okay. We got it. Our scheme's going to be better. You can't lie to me. You can't do it. So, to me, and listen, I hate using the verbiage tanking, man. I can't stand it. It's a loser's mentality. But what else am I supposed to think if you don't really tell me, quote unquote, maybe the real reason why you let Leonard Fournette go? So, to me, and I guess a lot of my frustration comes from this, Brent. I would be a horrible GM, a horrible head coach, because I would be so hell-bent on winning every single year. I would be hell-bent on putting my name on something, being, you know what? I don't care what we have. I want to get the most out of our guys. So take it from Jay Gruden's perspective. Maybe Leonard Fournette doesn't fit your offensive scheme right now. I understand that. Let's go back to 2018 in Washington. You brought in Adrian Peterson, who played in New Orleans, had a horrible time there, got in a fight with Sean Payton on the sidelines, goes to Arizona, gets lost in the shuffle, and then you sign Adrian Peterson, who was 33 years old at the time, coming off a bum knee. And you bring him to Washington, and he fit your scheme, supposedly, okay? And then you re-signed him after that year to 2 more years. So what do you mean, Leonard Fournette? Would you rather have Leonard Fournette right now or Adrian Peterson? I mean, and be honest, maybe you take Adrian Peterson. Okay.
Fournette.
So there you go.
Yes.
So,
well, you know me. I'm a bigger fan of Leonard on the field. Listen, people don't get this. The philosophical change doesn't mean that you can't fit into a scheme. The philosophical change means the last 3 years they pounded Leonard Fournette. They played off the play action. I think they're going to play off a shotgun mentality, get rid of the football, and have the ball in Gardner Minshew's hands more. That doesn't mean you can't have other good players, and you have to unload good players that might have fit with the other mentality.
Thank you. So from Jay Gruden's perspective, whatever there. From Doug Marone's perspective, if I'm a head coach right now and I'm trying to scratch and claw and save my job, the last thing I'm going to do is try to fire probably one of my best players in offense. I can't do that, man. I can't justify that. This year is supposed to mean everything to me. I'm supposed to try to keep my job this year. And we let Fournette go. And then same thing from Dave Caldwell's perspective, where if I can't get anything for Leonard Fournette, then I keep him on the team because guess what? $4 million is nothing in the NFL. Eat that money. It's $4 million. It means nothing in the NFL. So I keep Leonard Fournette. I showcase him with this quote-unquote great offensive line that you're so pumped up about, and let him run his stuff and see if a team's interested then. You're one injury away from a team to trade to Leonard Fournette. I mean, there's going to be desperate teams during the middle of the season. There always is. But you let him go 10 days before the first game of the season, it makes 0 sense. So from Dave Caldwell's perspective, 0 cents. Doug Marone's perspective, 0 cents. Jay Gruden's perspective, 0 cents. I can't come with anybody right now.
Well, what do you think? That's Austin. I'm Brent Martineau. I've got a lot of questions. I've got a lot of comments, thoughts, concerns. And we're just getting going. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, 904-362-9901. I think we had Jeremy on. He hung up. If he can get back on, do it. We just weren't taking calls in the first 10 minutes of the show. But we'll jump in right now with some calls and your thoughts throughout the remainder up until 6 o'clock. We do that all the time. Star 690 is another way to get in. Social media comments. Well, that's not a problem to find those. We've got a few of those. We'll share them along the way. It's a big day in Jacksonville. Leonard Fournette waived by the team after 3 years. Was the 4th overall pick in 2017. And oh yeah, Yannick Ngakoue gone as well. The Jaguars are remade. They're certainly not rebuilt. At least not yet. It's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Increasing cloudiness today with afternoon showers and thunderstorms with some heavy downpours in spots. Highs in the upper 80s. A lingering shower or thunderstorm this evening, then partly cloudy in the mid-70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing.
Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Connecticut features premier softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Internal Revenue Service. When you owe a personal or business tax debt and can't pay, just hearing those 3 words brings feelings of fear and anxiety. I'm Jonathan David Suryash, Managing Tax Attorney at J. David Tax Law. Everyone knows that if you owe the IRS and don't pay, it's only a matter of time before tax liens, wage garnishments, or bank levies happen to you. The first step to resolution is our no-cost consultation. We take the time to go through your specific tax problem step by step. We explain exactly what your options are and how we will resolve your tax issue. J. David Tax Law is a local firm right here in Jacksonville, where only an experienced tax attorney will represent you. Our fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. If you have tax problems, call us now for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777, or find us on the web at jdavidtaxlaw.com. That's jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
Injuries on the job can cause you to lose control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar Levine. Money is not coming in and your medical bills are piling up. Our legal team is here to help. We can help you file all your workers' compensation claims to make sure you get the proper benefits you're entitled to. If you've been injured on the job, call the law offices of Anajar Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
The economic difficulties caused by the current pandemic is affecting the survival of local small businesses. Many have had to close or greatly reduce operations. How well prepared are you to gear back up once conditions begin to improve? Will there be enough working capital to do so? Take advantage of this time to participate in a SCORE webinar or meet virtually with a counselor to get some ideas on developing a business recovery strategy. Register for a webinar or schedule a confidential mentoring session at jacksonville.score.org.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. All you got to do is say Amazon Echo, Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy that succulent sports coverage.
Austin Lane.
Are we on right now or not? Like our screen? I guess we're good.
Brent Martineau.
Yeah, you got to go all the way. Yeah, we're back. Thanks for your concern.
You're welcome.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
You know, at the end of the day, I just felt that was the best decision for us as a team. I think it gives us the best opportunity with the skill sets that we have with the other players in there. I just thought that that was the best for the team. And doing it now, we exhausted, all trade opportunities. We weren't able to get anything there. So I just felt that, now we can, work on the team and the plan and get ourselves ready for the season.
That is Doug Marone. I guess what else is he going to say? Not much to say. It's hard to explain it. I don't know how you can explain it without giving us some dirt. And nobody likes to do that. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here on a Monday. Hope you had a good weekend, by the way. What a wild one the last 2 days for Jacksonville. The national perception of this is not good. The local perception of this is not good. Are the Jags tanking is certainly the question. We're going to welcome your calls. And by the way, I might have put out the wrong number. So it's 904-362-9901. It is a number, but it's not the number you should call. So 904-362-9901 or star 690. It's been a busy day. I'm all over the place, man.
Yeah, I didn't know how to answer that, folks. I was like, no, this is Justin, Action Sports Jags. I don't know what to say here.
So we got Matt on the special line. Let's jump right into the calls real quick, and then we got more thoughts, and we start breaking this down. We got a long time to do it, but we got to break it down piece by piece. There's so much to do. Matt, what's up, man?
What's going on, Brent?
How you doing? How you feel about it?
Oh, man, it's crazy, man. First, I want to say, how's everybody doing? You know what I'm saying? And you got to give out the right number if you want people to call in, too. You might not get no.
Get him, Matt.
Might not get a good response.
Get him, Matt.
That's one way to limit the calls today.
yeah, right. You're like, hey, nobody out there has an opinion? We do. We can call in the pizza place. But I just want to say, first, as I kind of feel like an insider, because I had a neighbor who was a sports writer for the Jags, and he actually got into like an altercation. I ain't gonna, say the names or whatever. He got into rub Jalen Ramsey the wrong way at a practice one time, and he was telling me that the Jaguars had a bad taste in their mouth for Fournette after his injury because he wasn't really rehabbing seriously. And also he had like an attitude problem too. I don't know if it's like a prima donna attitude or something like that, which he has changed since then. But I think once that happened, it kind of lessened his value in the eyes of the organization.
All right, Matt, we appreciate the call. And listen, I think you're going to get a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of people saying things, and I think you're going to hear things. The fact or fiction part of that is the part that I try to filter.
Yeah.
And I'm not discrediting that. It might be true. We've heard a lot of things over the years about multitude of players. And sometimes they're true and sometimes they're not. Once they go out the door, the stories become a little more glorified as well. Mm-hmm. So I just want to be a little careful of those kind of things. Here's the fact. There's some disconnect inside that building with Fournette and players and coaches. There has been over the years. That's an absolute. How you want to illustrate that, how you want to specifically say what is what, I don't know. I kind of liken it to this. A little bit, doesn't it feel like the Jags have undone the Jalen Ramsey clique, if you will? Guys that maybe hung out with Jalen Ramsey.
Sure.
From Telvin Smith to now Leonard, it's like it's the opposite of McVay. Like if you had a phone call with McVay, you got a job. Well, now if you've had you were hanging out with Jalen Ramsey in the locker room, look out.
Yeah.
It feels that way. Again, that might be a little fabricated, but it feels that way.
Listen, the Leonard Fournette that stepped in 2017 compared to the Leonard Fournette that's walking out the building now, to me, is a completely different person, right? There may have been some maturity issues. We saw it. I think it was his second year on the sidelines in Houston. Coughlin called him out, tried to take some of his money away. We saw it in Buffalo a little bit where he threw that punch and everything like that. It's not Leonard Fournette's fault that the team, and when I say the team, I mean the coaches, elected to make him a captain, and then he made you look wrong, okay? Like, if he was really that much of a detriment, why make him a captain that year in the first place? Why make him a captain in 2018? Why'd you do it?
Well, because they allowed the players to vote for captains.
But don't the coaches have any kind of say?
I remember that. They allowed – listen, man, it was awful. Like, I don't know why. We asked Marone after, like, are you going to step in and change this? Because, that was a bad move. It ended up being the leadership was not good in 18. Yeah. They couldn't handle whatever success they had and then the failures that they had that season. But you usually point to leadership. Well, they did a very poor job of appointing leadership in 18.
So here's my point then. All right, so 2018, it was obviously abysmal. It was a nightmare. Leonard Fournette was the captain, didn't do that great, yada, yada, yada. So then what does he do? He takes it upon himself to improve his image, to improve his overall just well-being in football, goes in the middle of Wyoming, trains, does his thing there, gets in probably the best shape of his life, comes back, and it seems like his demeanor changes a little bit. Then all of a sudden he's singing happy birthday to little kids on the sidelines and things like that. He's handing out shoes, handing out gloves. Once again, I couldn't find any issues last year from what I've seen from Leonard Fournette. Now, in the locker room it's different, so be it. But my point is, why wouldn't you want to kind of celebrate that guy? Why wouldn't you want to celebrate a guy that busted his you-know-what to try to improve himself, make himself a better teammate, and then you let him go? What kind of image are you sending to the young guys in that locker room?
I think you're right on that in so many fronts. And, I think I get grouped in because we had some thoughts on Leonard Fournette as a guy that bashes Leonard Fournette. I think it's just the opposite. I actually applauded Leonard Fournette for his change. I don't think people give Leonard Fournette enough credit for 2017.
And you've been very adamant
They don't
about
make the AFC
that.
Championship without him. You can have Mahomes that year. You can have Watson that year. You don't go to the AFC Championship game, I'm telling you.
That is one hill that you've been on since day one.
But longer term, obviously, those two guys would have been better off, no doubt. I'm not arguing that point. That's a no-brainer. I mean, I should get kicked off the radio if I don't argue that point. I'm saying in 17 alone, he was such a big factor, and nobody wanted to give him that kind of credit, in my opinion, because 18 got so bad. Well, you're right. He remade himself. He got more mature. He got rid of some of the bad folks that he thought he was very loyal to, but shouldn't be around him for a negative vibe. I sat down with him before last season. I said, hey, man, you're like so misunderstood. This great heart, this guy that gets it in terms of with the fans, with the kids. You see your stature, your stardom, and you share that, and you know it means something to them. But then there is this other thing going on. The stuff that Mark Long brought up in our conversation in the summer, whether it's late to meetings, coaches don't like him, whatever it is. So much so that when he was asked about it in a media availability this month, he said, listen, I'm not a jerk. And so it is one of the most, we had a show about this, he is one of the most complicated players in Jaguars history. The relationship between the team and him, the relationship between the fans and him, I think is one of the most complicated stories in Jaguars history when it comes to players. And you can't deny that he was productive in 17 and 19, and the Jaguars just lost all that production. We have Jones on the line, I think you said. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Thanks for calling in, man. What's up?
Hey, I got a question for you. If we got two first-round draft picks, are we getting a first running back and first draft pick on next year? But I'm just saying, just like that.
Yeah, thanks, Jones. Appreciate it. They got first-round draft picks two next year. They now have 2 fourth-round draft picks. That's because of the Jalen Ramsey trade. Yeah. They'll now have 2 second-round draft picks. And so I think what Jones was saying is, we'll go get another running back with one of those picks. Well, yeah, I mean, you could do that.
You're gonna have to.
I mean, they'll probably have to do that. Listen, this is not mouthpiecing the organization. I've just been told since late last year, they do like these guys in Armstead and Ezigbo. Yeah. What I'm here to tell you is those 2 guys are not Leonard Fournette on the field. They're not. I mean, they can show us that, but we have too small of a sample to know that. You can like your stable of guys, your young guys, think you have some depth there, but they're not that guy.
And do we see it in training camp? Did you leave? And listen, I was only at 4 of them. You were at more than I was.
But running backs are hard to tell without games, right?
So if it's hard to tell without games, then what do they see that we don't see? Maybe they say something, but I don't. I'm just saying, I think it's hard to gauge what you have at the running back position if you're not live tackling, if you're not hitting. How do you know?
Yeah, again, this mantra was a little bit left over from last year, too, so they saw him a little bit in those games, but not enough. Not enough to buy in, not enough to let this guy go just because of a football standpoint.
Yeah, and also I want to point out, too, so yes, obviously there are the rumors out there. Mark Long came on our show. He spoke his piece about what he heard about Leonard Fournette. Obviously, Leonard Fournette kind of clapped back at Mark Long a little bit.
He did.
Gave him his 2 cents. And once again, I don't know what's the behind the scenes stuff. I've never heard anything about it. All I have to go off of is what the teammates tell me and what my eyes tell me. And like, for instance, Chris Thompson. Obviously, Chris Thompson's a guy who benefits if Leonard Fournette's gone. Let's be honest, because now you're getting more time now, man.
Well, we thought he'd get the screen pass and the catches anyway. Leonard had 80 catches last year. He wasn't going to have 80 catches this year.
But now I think even with Leonard Fournette gone, Chris Thompson's value goes up. Fantasy football alert, ring the bell or whatever.
Very good.
But look what
Drafts are coming.
But look what Chris Thompson had to say. Was looking forward to balling with you this year, my boy. Glad I got to know you, the real you, Leonard Fournette, at Leonard Fournette.
Well, isn't that interesting? The perceived Leonard Fournette versus the real Leonard Fournette.
So
Speaking of, Leonard Fournette issued this statement, and he took the high road and very classy. He said, Duval, first, I want to thank the city of Jacksonville and all of the fans for embracing me the past 3 seasons. We have been through some ups and downs, but y'all have batted my back through it all. You have my deepest respect and appreciation. I would like to thank the Jaguars organization for giving me the opportunity to fulfill a lifelong dream of playing in the NFL. To all of my brothers in the locker room from 17 until today, y'all family for life. I wish each of you the absolute best in your careers. I'm excited about what will come next for myself, wherever that may be. Know that you will get a player who is focused, motivated, and ready to get work. God is great. Leonard Fournette via Rock Nation pushing that out there. And, one thing to notice, back in 2018, the relationship between the Jags and Fournette got a little rocky because they took his guarantees away.
Yep.
Right? He took, I think it was up to $7 million at the time in guarantees. And what that meant, and to be honest with you, I had to do a little homework on this because I didn't quite understand it. I thought he just lost $7 million. Well, that wasn't the case. Basically, he loses the money up front when he was going to get it in terms of guaranteed dollars. Like if he got cut today, he was still guaranteed that money.
Yeah.
He could still earn it back through the length of the contract. That's very interesting. Did they cut him because of the $4 million and something to do with the guarantees? Now, Rappaport said today there will be a grievance on $4 million of those guarantees, but the Jaguars might have just saved themselves a few million extra dollars cutting him now rather than later or carry him through the season because he had the ability to earn those. If I understand that correctly, it's a bit complicated, but it was a little loophole in his contract at the time, and because of the suspension and the fight in Buffalo, they were able to do that. That kind of got things rocky internally with the Jaguars. There's also something to note here that I think Leonard Fournette, if you want to talk about the in-the-building stuff, which whatever that is, whatever you want to characterize it as, I characterize it as a disconnect because, quite frankly, I don't know specific instances. If you want to give me specific instances, that's one thing. If there's a little underbelly of stuff, which I've heard enough of to know at least there's some underbelly, then that's one thing. But there wasn't just Fournette. There's an underbelly from that entire team. Now, when I say entire team, I don't mean all 53. But that team was tough to coach. It was tough to be around at times. When things went well, it was great. When it didn't, it didn't. Telvin Smith, Jalen Ramsey, you name them. You know, there's a lot of guys that things didn't go well for. And when you're losing, things don't really go well. But I think Leonard is a little guilty by association in that regard, where he was kind of linked to those guys or linked to that team that had a little bit of that label maybe internally in the building. And maybe he wasn't the ringleader of it. Maybe he wasn't as bad as those guys. But I think they got tired of coaching those guys because they became hard to coach. And now we've seen a huge flip in terms of youth, buy-in. Look at all the guys we talked about in the draft in terms of very coachable, those kind of traits, right? The Jaguars have gone way overboard in getting those kind of players now in this locker room. Saqib's hanging on the line. Let's get to him. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Wild couple of days, Saqib.
Man, I wake up this morning. I was like, you know what? We're going to talk about the Yannick trade. Okay, we got something for him, yada, yada, yada. And I see that, and I think I passed out for like 30 seconds. because I don't understand, how does a GM get so many opportunities to fix this? And he does, before even Tom Coughlin's situation, he was a GM, and he destroyed this roster with Blake Bortles and Jokel and all these clowns that he has. And now he gets a second opportunity, and now we don't have nothing to root for. We have zero to root for. This is going to be a horrible, mark my words, a horrible year, and I have to deal with this clowns. Next year, they're going to get another opportunity. That's what I don't understand. They're going to get another opportunity after this year because of all this stuff that's going on. I'm tired. I'm tired of dealing with losing. And Mr. Khan, if you're listening, please fire these clowns after this year. Please, I'm begging you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Saqib. Appreciate
man.
it.
Hey,
Thanks for listening to Action Sports
This is
Jackson.
that place to vent, man. Get it all out. That's what we're here for. We're here to listen.
Okay, let's get into that side real quick.
Okay.
Should we? I almost need a lot of time. I'm not going to get into that side real quick. We're going to get into a break.
After the break, okay.
Or I might even go to the top of the hour. There's so much to spin here. I want to go for more from Leonard's side of it.
Okay.
How does he feel today? Does he feel betrayed? Does he feel thankful? There have been a lot of guys who say, I want out of here. Leonard's one of those guys, I think, that has kind of been back and forth about I want out of here.
Yeah.
You know, he hasn't been vocal. I think he likes the city. I think he likes the fans. Heck, I mean, he was Zooming with the fans during the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fun dude, man.
Yeah.
He's a great guy to root for. Yet I say that dynamic between the fans, what they could never get over is the fact that they picked him top 5 and they let a couple of quarterbacks go by. That wasn't Leonard's fault, but that's what he wore, much like Tyson Alualu wore that back in the day.
Yeah.
So you wear that as a player. But I also think there's a stardom about Leonard Fournette. He's had that stardom since he was in Pop Warner.
Mm-hmm.
He's a legendary in Baton Rouge and back home in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also a star across the league. I mean, he's one of their guys that really transcends Jacksonville and gets across the league. People know Leonard Fournette. On the national shows today, they're talking about this because it's Leonard Fournette, or they're looking at the stupidity of the Jags, one of the two. But they're really focusing in on Fournette. Now, where does he land? Do you think is this a sigh of relief for him today? It's like, you know what? Good. I need a new home. I don't have to deal with this year. We're going to be bad anyway. They don't really like me in the building. They tried to trade me. I mean, he handled all that stuff very well, by the way. For a team that tried to trade him, he never ripped them after that.
It's hard. Yeah. I mean, and to me, it goes to show me the class of Leonard Fournette, because there's nothing more awkward than showing up to work every single day in a place that doesn't really essentially want you, a place that tried to trade you away, but you still showed up. You showed up to training camp. From my perspective, you were professional the whole time. And to be fair, I was intrigued, man. Like, he looked good at training camp, I thought. Now, once again, what does that really mean when you're tackling on air and you're just tapping up? Who knows? But I just think he looked good. He looked fast. He looked quick. Whatever, though. What is Leonard Fournette thinking right now? I mean, I think he's a little shocked. I think he's a little taken back, because how could you not be? Yes, the writing was on the wall where he tried to get traded back during the draft. That didn't happen. But listen, we're 10 days out right now. Or how many days are we out? We're
12.
12 days out right now from the first game of the season. and all of a sudden you just get let go. Of course he's shocked right now. Now, I'm sure he's partly excited because I think whoever brings him in, could be in the need of a running back, but could actually have a pretty good team this year too. Tampa Bay or something like that. Maybe, who knows? So with that being said, I think he's excited, but where my mind goes to, Brent, are the guys in that locker room. Because history shows us when you do this to players and you essentially pull the rug. And once again, I'm not sure what the conversations in the locker room were like, but I think we can assume right now that the rug was pulled underneath Leonard Fournette's feet. I don't think anybody saw this coming.
Yeah, and I asked Doug Marone today, and he wouldn't answer because he said, I can't speak for the team. I wish he kind of did and see if he got a feel for him. Maybe he hadn't met with the team yet, too, to be fair to Doug. But I just said, what is the reaction? I mean, the reaction outside is like one of shock.
So
what's the reaction inside that building with DJ Chark and Miles Jack and Joe Schobert, who came over, and any of those guys, with Brandon Linder? I mean, listen, Fournette's a good player. They know what he's done. Yes. They respect his game.
So here's my point, and you're kind of proving right now. The writing wasn't on the wall then, because Leonard Fournette, last time I checked at practice, was still getting those first-team reps. So the expectation was for Leonard Fournette to be the bell cow this year, or at least the first and second down back, and then Chris Thompson comes in for the third down back. When you pull the rug out underneath your team like this, I can't name one time it's ever worked out well. Like I'm reminded of when they cut Dave Garrard. I remember being on that bus. I think we were maybe 7 days out before we played Tennessee, or 6 days out, so it was a little sooner than that. But and I'm not trying to compare the quarterback position to the running back position, but keep in mind, Leonard Fournette is a big part of that offense. And the fact that you just kind of said, all right, well, he's gone now, how is that going to echo in the locker room? Spoiler alert, it's not going to be good.
Well, you went 2-14.
Because I remember what happened when Dave got cut out of nowhere. And I remember that reaction right after.
Was that the 2-14 year?
That was a 2-14 year. Number one, we were in shock, obviously. And then after that, we were just kind of like, dude, what are we doing here? And no, I think that was the 4-win season.
I was going to say, that was 2011. Yeah. Hey, Michael says, Brent, you almost did it, but you bailed on me and made it a question. Say it with your chest. The Jags are tanking. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
And by the way, Bold City Cat, we got to get our guy Brent some help with pronouncing Duval. Do I say Duval funny?
I don't know, man. Sorry. I've just been seeing red all day.
I mean, it's been a busy day, Cap. I mean, I don't need this. I got a lot going on. I got a Rhode Island accent, dude.
I can't even.
But Duval?
Hey, keep in mind, we haven't even talked about Jan yet. I can't wait till you come unhinged about Jan, because you're the guy that said if they got a second-round pick for him, woo boy.
I said just a second. They got a little more.
Oh, my bad. A 5th-round pick.
Sunflower seeds as well.
Yeah, which Brent Marino called the crap suit of the NFL draft, by the way. We have that on audio. Yeah, it can be. Yeah. I should know, right?
More Leonard talk after this on ESPN 690. What about Dave Caldwell and Doug Marone? Next on ESPN 690. Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. That was Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic. Was he driving a Zamboni during that? Or was that sound from the bubble?
They were Zamboning the courts.
I was like, Coach just said Zamboning the courts.
Is that what Zamboni?
That's the verb of Zamboniing.
Sure about that?
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
You ready for some good news? No, make that great news. You know that new Toyota you've been wanting? It's as good as yours thanks to the huge savings going on now at Arlington Toyota. Every new Toyota Arlington's got is on sale. In fact, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. Want to drive away in a new Toyota with no payments? Right now at Arlington, you can. Get no payments for 90 days on your new Toyota purchase. Every single day at Arlington, you're going to have over 750 new and quality pre-owned to choose from on the lot, ready for you to drive home today. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a nationwide lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. But wait, there's more. It's time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington. Wait no more. Now's the time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August savings for full details. I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233. The summer shower of savings now held over.
Buying fine jewelry has never been better.
Right now at Beard's Diamonds, get 5 years, 0 interest, plus no money down on any purchase.
This is the best deal of the summer.
Take advantage of Beard's lowest prices in North Florida on diamonds, from engagement rings to necklaces. Then spread your payments out over 60 months. That's 5 years with no interest, not a dime.
How about a $6,000 Takuri or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month. Or a pair of diamond studs for $3,000? You pay just $50 a month.
Hurry! It's the last time you'll get 5 years, 0 interest this year.
Get her that designer setting she's been dreaming about and spread your payments out over 60 months.
Now's your time to get out of the doghouse and save thousands. 0 interest for 5 years.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Come in. See the difference. Save thousands.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Flace with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. If you own firearms, it's your responsibility to make sure they're always stored safely. Hiding them in a closet or drawer is not enough. Kids know where they are. Research shows the risk of injury and death is lower if guns are stored unloaded and locked up, with the ammunition locked in a separate place. This is important when children are young, as well as when they grow into teenagers. For more, talk with your pediatrician or visit healthychildren.org.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, we appreciate it. But your boss says you're working from home this week, so take us with you. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
I mean, I can't really write or really jump in, you know, and tell someone else what to think or what to do. I think the best way to probably approach it, you know, with obviously not having thought a lot about, you know, being able to present this is I would like to just tell you what my role is. Put the best guys I can together as a team, same way I've been talking to the players from the beginning. And at the end of the day, it's going to fall to me, you know, who those best players are.
The problem with Doug Marone mentioning best players is you just cut one. It can't just be strictly best players. They just cut their best offensive player. Now, listen, Gardner Minshew, ball's going to be in his hands a lot more.
Sure.
Production-wise, quarterback's so important.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I mean, you could always make the case.
No,
I mean,
for sure.
You could make the case Blake Bortles needs to be your best player even when he was quarterback.
Yeah.
DJ Chark is developing. It is, you know, Laviska Shenault could be a lot of fun. So it might not have panned out that way this year. But he has been. I mean, he's one of your best players. It's just again, I think it's a tough spot for Marone. I'm not necessarily hammering him. It's a tough spot. He's answering the questions.
Yeah.
And you're also, think about it from Marone's point of view. Say there is a little bit disconnect. You don't want to hammer the player. You're trying to protect the player. Mm-hmm. You're not going to throw him under the bus. Mm-hmm. And so I think the Jags handle that part well. It falls on deaf ears because it's hard when you're identifying best players for the season and you just cut number 27.
Yeah.
It does not make a whole lot of sense in that regard when you're thinking about it in that landscape.
Look, and whether it's you cutting best players or it's trying to fit the scheme, I'm going to say this, Brent, and nothing against Bruce Miller here. I have no ill will towards Bruce Miller. But if he's on the roster, week 1 against Indianapolis Colts, if you have a fullback on the roster of the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm going to freak out. I'm literally going to freak out because how can you justify then keeping a fullback, which, by the way, Bruce Miller's been looking good in training camp, so I've heard, but how can you justify keeping a fullback if Leonard Fournette doesn't fit the scheme? Answer me that one.
I don't know. And they flirted with a couple of fullbacks. That part doesn't seem to add up.
Well, once again, and I'm going to repeat myself one more time, And no ill will towards the fullbacks out there. Keep in mind, I'm a Wisconsin Badger fan. I love all fullbacks out there. I'm an equal opportunity fullback employer. But if there's a fullback on this team week 1 and Leonard Fournette's not here, I'm going to freak out.
Again, already freaked out at the top of the show.
No, it'll be a new level.
I asked, is he mad, sad, glad in terms of Leonard Fournette?
What are you, Dr. Seuss right now? Hey, Dr. Seuss. Rhyming it a little bit,
It
huh?
did feel like that.
Yeah.
Eric says, I'd be mad they didn't cut me earlier so I could have better job opportunities. Hard to believe they just decided now they were going to do this since they already tried to get rid of him before. And it's an interesting take because you almost wonder if some team would reach in with a 7th-round pick or a 6th-round pick here and say, okay, we'll add to him. Make it a Seattle or a Miami. I don't know who it is. Just name your team. And say, or didn't the Jets just a deal fell through, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Belichick?
Yeah. So why wouldn't they jump in and give you a 7th-round pick?
Here we go. So with Belichick, keep in mind who Belichick is. Do you know how many yards per carry average last year? 1.8. And you offered him a late-round pick in the New York Jets, offered that to Miami for a guy that averaged, and I'll repeat myself one more time, 1.8 yards a carry last year. And that's what you get for him?
So are the Jags sticking it to Leonard in the sense that, hey, we don't even want anything in back for this guy. We don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Or is the $4 million part of it? And
but I'm telling you, man, $4 million.
Well, it depends what team. I mean, $4 million.
Yeah.
Listen, $4 million is still $4 million. It just depends how I don't know what the Jets look. I think the Jets actually have a ton of money.
Yeah.
Seattle, who knows? I mean, look, now the Minnesota Vikings with Jan, they're right up against it. They have $200,000. That's it.
Yeah.
So some teams are in that way. So it eliminates some teams.
Well, and the Jets also have Bell already too. So would you really bring Fournette and Bell on the same
that's
team?
A good point.
But this is the point, though, right? You're going to spend a 7th
Forgot about Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, you're going to spend a 7th or 6th round pick on a backup running back for Le'Veon Bell.
Well, and it might be role though, right? It's like, okay, we're going to bring Leonard's been the bell cow,
sure.
And so if you're going to bring him in, like we thought about. Think about landing spots for Leonard Fournette, and I'm like, well, imagine if he went to like Tennessee. He had Derrick Henry and Fournette, 2 guys with chips on their shoulders, and they already run down the Jags' throat. I mean, you could just see that happen. You said Houston, right? Indianapolis has got a loaded backfield. Might go with Junior kidding around that throw him back there and run the wishbone.
Well, run the wishbone, man.
But it's a fair point. Who has who? Like, do you have room for a guy that wants it 20 times a game?
Yeah.
And that's especially at this point. Again, you do have to ask your question. Are they sticking it a little bit to Leonard Fournette quietly? Because a 7th-round pick or whatever, I don't know.
Listen, stick it to him then. So go and prove a point. Go ahead and be passive-aggressive in this and go ahead and stick it to him. Meanwhile, your team is slated to probably win maybe 4, at the most 4 games right now. Because I'll be honest, man. But go ahead and stick it to him. I don't care.
I'm more asking the question than advocating that they are. But
I mean,
it's just unbelievable that they couldn't get anything for Leonard Fournette. Anything.
Yeah, and once again, I go back to my point. What was the risk of keeping him on your team, showcasing him for 2 or 3 games, and then getting a trade for him, or if not, then just let him go?
And that's a good point because you had 4 or 5 weeks until the trade deadline where you could stack up some yards and make them more marketable.
So what's going to happen? Either you showcase,
but that shows that they wanted to cut ties from an in-the-building team structure, culture standpoint. That's more evidence of that.
Yeah, but my point is either you showcase him for those 3 or 4 games, and guess what? He absolutely balls out of his mind, and teams start to take note a little bit because they're like, you know what? We can't let him go to the waiver wire. We got to pull the trigger right now. We need Leonard Fournette on our team. You do that. Or you showcase him, he does nothing, and then you cut him a couple weeks later. What's the difference? Yeah, stick it to him.
Why? So, like the other side of that, why even bring him into camp if you knew you were going to let him go?
And that's the thing, right? Nobody was trading in the offseason. They're probably not trading now. That's why the question is asked. I mean, if they obviously didn't have plans for Leonard Fournette, or did they see something in the last few weeks? Was he sleeping in Zoom meetings? I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, but I'm not saying I've heard that either. But did he do something that offset him? Was it congratulating Yannick Ngakoue yesterday? I don't know. Was it in the offseason advocating for Cam Newton to a degree?
Yeah.
You never know. Listen, you don't know what ruffles people's feathers. And were they so fed up with them over time that even these little things just started to add up? We don't know exactly, but you get the idea that there was part of it along the way. Steven's on the line. Let's get to him. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690 because I'm going to turn into this segment into our next segment into Caldwell and Marone and for Jags' point of view on the Fournette stuff. But let's get to Steven first. What's up, man?
Hey, not much. How about you guys?
Well.
Well, Austin Silence says different.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. It's been a crazy day.
Just got suplexed off the top rope.
It's been a crazy week, and let's just say that much.
My thing was to call when you said about Caldwell and Marone, and I tell you what, they better not be here next year. But I think it comes down to listening to all Marone's meetings that he's had. When he's asked the big questions, it looks like he just pushes out of his butt, because I think the communication is so horrible from front office to coaching staff. He might not have even known Fournette was getting let go until Caldwell called him that morning saying, hey, you got to go tell him that he's gone.
All right, Stephen, appreciate it. I can guarantee you this, he knew. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this was more pushed by the coaching staff than it was by the front office.
Yeah.
You got to remember now, Dave Caldwell did this. The last 2 days, he cut $22 million in cash.
Yeah.
Shad Khan doesn't have to worry about.
Sure. For what? What do you spend that money on?
I don't know.
You spend it on something? You gonna buy something or what?
Why are the Jags doing this? Next on ESPN 690.
Starts with the T.
Finding the next job is a big job, and that part of what you do is a little tough right now. Because of that, Lowe's for Pros is here to help. Get $400 in leads on us with a free 1-year subscription from HomeAdvisor to connect to jobs that make sense for you. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty to get started. Just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Now let's get to work. Subscription and $400 lead credit subject to HomeAdvisor's approval and terms. Valid for new HomeAdvisor customers only. Lowe's loyalty required. More terms apply. Valid through 9/9 US only.
Goodyear knows why we all love basketball. It's the sound of the buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the swish of the net. It's the spin on the ball as it's released, the squeaking sneakers before an inbound pass, the timeout that gives us perspective on the moment. We love basketball because we love movement. And now that it's back, we're asking you, the fans, what moves you? Goodyear, more driven.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
This following message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and its radio station.
This is Max Mayfield, former director of the National Hurricane Center. This hurricane season, you need to update your family preparedness plan so it includes COVID-19 preparations. So when a storm threatens, be ready to prepare your home and have your family hurricane kit ready. It includes supplies for your pets and enough COVID-19 sanitizers, disinfectant wipes, and masks. Know your zone, know your home. For more information, go to floridastorms.org.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
It's always smart to shop at Diamonds Direct, but right now it's smarter than ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing and no money down on any purchase. No kidding, it's the best offer ever. Keep your money and finance the entire purchase, even the tax, for 5 years without paying a dime in interest. Get a $10,000 certified diamond for only $168 a month. I'm telling you, this makes fine jewelry more affordable than ever. It's definitely the smart way to buy. On approved credit, details at diamondsdirect.com.
Off Town Center Parkway.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A major boost for the Padres rotation on this MLB trade deadline day. San Diego, going for its first playoff appearance since 2006, acquired ace Mike Clevenger from the Indians, a group of young players heading to Cleveland in return. Diamondbacks traded outfielder Starling Marte to the Marlins, also traded pitcher Robbie Ray to the Blue Jays. A's acquired pitcher Mike Minor from the Rangers. Red Sox traded outfielder Kevin Pillar to the Rockies. Legendary Georgetown men's basketball coach John Thompson has died at the age of 78. The Hall of Famer, the first black coach to lead a team to an NCAA men's basketball championship, also was a pioneer credited with opening the door for a generation of minority coaches who followed him. One of Thompson's greatest traits, his willingness to sacrifice, notes ESPN's Mark Jackson.
This guy was all in 31 years ago, and that's why, so many people are affected that didn't know him. So many people are affected that knew him. So many people are affected that only knew him from a distance, that competed against him because of his impact and because of his willingness to sacrifice his own for the benefit of so many.
NFL, the Jags waived running back Leonard Fournette.
Brought to you by Cooper Tires. Go with great tires that do what tires should do and cost what tires should cost. Go with the Coopers.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Leonard Fournette's 25, 26 years old. He's had a couple of 1,000-yard seasons, so he is a productive running back. So Seattle makes a lot of sense. And then down in Tampa, if you think about, everyone is talking about Tampa and Tom Brady needs a pass-catching running back. But what about a running back that does the first job that a running back's supposed to do, running the football? And I get it, Ronald Jones is starting to come into his own from what everyone says, but Ronald Jones is not Leonard Fournette. So I think for various reasons, Tampa and Seattle make a lot of sense for Leonard Fournette.
That is Booger McFarland. Tampa and Seattle. Tampa?
Yep. Go to the playoffs, man. Have fun.
Well, either team would work in that sense.
Go do your thing. I'm thinking Tampa.
Running backs take a long time to get into a new system? Not really, right?
Hey, run in that hole.
Yeah.
Here's the ball. Run in that hole.
Yeah,
just go.
I think assignments and other things, that's different. But first and second down, just go run the ball. Right?
Just here's the ball. Go run with it.
All right. We've obviously talking a lot about Leonard Fournette. We'll get to Yannick Ngakoue in a little bit, too.
Who?
Yeah, we will get to. We're here till 6, man.
Who's that?
Somebody said to me today, who said, you and Austin can just watch I Love Lucy reruns all day. You don't have to prep for this show.
That's what I did.
Well, instead I did TV and other stuff most of the day. But I get your point. Yeah. And you're probably right.
And instead I did some meditation, man. I did some breathing exercises to help me calm down a little bit. Spoiler alert, it hasn't been helping that much.
No, it hasn't.
No. What are you going to do?
All right, so we talked a lot about Leonard Fournette, that part of it. I want to now talk about the Jags side of it.
Yeah.
And what it means. And obviously everybody's asking, are they tanking?
Yeah, I haven't brought that up today.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
This is, if we're being truthful here and trying not to be hypocritical, if you go back months, basically there was a guy that held us off the tanking teeter-totter, and that was Fournette.
And we were hanging on by a thread, man.
It's like if you let Fournette go, then it's kind of a show of, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Right?
Because, to be fair, we had this conversation during the draft. Right?
That was during the draft.
Because there were rumors saying that Leonard Fournette was going to get traded during the draft.
That was when they were dangling him,
and obviously the argument was, well, if you trade him and you want to avoid the whole, are you guys tanking or not, then you better get an early round running back to replace him right away. That didn't happen.
So does this make it they're tanking?
Well, I mean, what else do you want me to say, man? Well, go ahead.
Well, you could say, here's where I wrestle with it.
Okay.
One, it's hard to admit. Probably.
Let's hear it.
Two, I'm just going to be a little bit careful because I'm higher on Gardner Minshew than others are, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think he can do things that I think their offense is actually halfway decent. Now, you just lost maybe your best player on offense. I don't think it cripples your offense. I think it takes a dynamic away from your offense. It certainly doesn't help. And I'm still wrestling, if I'm being completely honest, with how much this hurts Minshew. But again, you take away a very good player, a player that people are going to focus on, that hurts you. There's no doubt. They got worse on offense, in my opinion, from yesterday to today.
Correct.
But I still think they have some good things, and I know they're going to throw it a little bit more. And I think a lot of times it will depend on Minshew. If Minshew achieves in terms of what other people think, then I have a hard time seeing him win just 2 games. And tanking is like a 2-game win total. That's what you're saying. If you're tanking, you gotta go 1 win, 2 wins. Shoot, max, maybe you can get to 3 wins. It's hard to tank is the point. But they are setting up their house for transition. This is the way. This is the analogy I like to use better. And this is going to get us into Doug Marone and Dave Caldwell. But in my opinion, I said this months ago, when they got rid of A.J. Boye and Calais Campbell and everybody else, that was part of, you know what? I'm putting my house on the market. And by the way, don't take this the wrong. I'm not talking about they're selling the team. But I'm not talking about that. Yeah, I know people can insinuate that and talk about London and all this stuff. I'm not insinuating that. Yeah. I'm saying they are basically saying, hey, you know what? Hey, honey, we're going to put our house up. Let's do it next year. Let's do it in 8 or 9 months. We're going to paint in the meantime. We're going to get some new rugs. We're going to do a little bit of this stuff. Not going to cost us a lot, but we're going to fix it up so it will look like it's worth more, will be worth more when it's time to sell, after the school year for the kids or whatever it might be. I've looked at this year as that for the Jaguars. See, a lot of people look at this as Dave Caldwell saving his job and Doug Marone. The expectations aren't very high. So even if he wins 6 or 7 games, he's going to be back now. And there's a fear factor about those guys being back. This move, maybe you can quantify it as tanking. I think it's exactly what I've been talking about for a while. They built this mess, and Shad Khan's telling them to clean this mess up because next year, I think in the owner's mind, he's going to have 9 draft picks, a young football team with some young talent on it, a ton of cap space, and it's going to be attractive, or at least more attractive, for a new GM and a new head coach to come in here, pick their quarterback, pick whatever, and go that way. And the reasoning I think that way is if you go back to 16-17, they had spent 4 years trying to build it with Dave Caldwell and Gus Bradley. Yeah. They brought Tom Coughlin in. And one of the guys they brought in at least look at to take over as the coaching guy was McDaniels. And the story about Josh McDaniels was he kind of wanted to blow it up. Well, the Jags were like, wait a minute. We just got all this young talent. We got Jalen Ramsey and we got this and that. And I don't know if we want to blow it up. Like, we need some work, but I don't know if we want to blow it up. Yeah. Well, you know what? Shad Khan was right. They add a couple of pieces. They draft Fournette at least that year, and they go to the AFC Championship game. They were right in that respect. Well, I think instead of having a guy come in here as the new head coach, new GM, and blow it up and spend his first year blowing it up, I think they're already kind of cleaning the house, emptying the furniture out, moving some things around, and saying, all right, here you go. You build it from here. It's an attractive situation, a more attractive house.
So essentially what you're saying right now is Dave Caldwell and Doug Marone are writing their own death sentences saying, you know what, we're not going to be here. So, hey, well, since we're on the way out, let's tidy up the place for you. So eventually you're getting evicted from your own house, but before you're getting evicted, you're getting tossed out of your own house. You're going to make it nice and spiffy for the next people who come in.
Absolutely, because here's the deal. Hey, whoa. Time out. You also get $2.5-3 million, by the way, for doing that. An extra $2.5-3 million, and you get a lifeline to try to prove me wrong and save your job.
No, there's no way.
Yeah,
no.
I think there's certainly a way.
So,
and also, one other thing about this from Shad Khan's perspective, in my opinion, from a business side, is they would have had to pay those guys to walk away and pay a new regime to come in at the same time. So now you're paying a lot of dollars in this shakeup for a year that was going to look like this regardless, whether it was Josh McDaniels coaching or it was Doug Marone coaching.
Listen, if you think that if I'm Doug Marone or Dave Caldwell and I'm going to be out the door already, and if you think I'm going to let go my best player just so it makes it more appealing to the next guy to come in, you're absolutely crazy, because that's not how football minds work. Football minds don't work where it's like, you know what, I'm going to do the next guy coming in a favor. I'm going to make it nice and tidy. I'm going to make it very attractive because, well, I'm on my way out regardless. So let me make this job really appealing to the next guy. No, that is not how football minds work at all. Like, if I'm Doug Marone right now, if I'm Dave Caldwell, I'm doing everything in my power to try to salvage this season, to try to salvage and say, you know what? Yeah, we maybe had a bad year, but look at these pieces that we have going forward. Without a doubt.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. I really don't. Well, I don't see it. Now, listen, can they make it work out? Can they win anyway? Can they try to figure out what's the best way to win? There's a belief maybe in there that Doug Marone and Caldwell believe that Fournette shouldn't be on the team. I'm not saying they don't have leeway to try to win this year. Go ahead and try to win.
Well,
but at the same time, once they pivoted, right, they went from this. They went from, hey, we're back. Jan is a top priority. That was December 31st. And why are they back, Shad Khan? Well, he said in like the third week of January on a conference call, I think we're closer to winning with these guys than if we brought somebody else in. Well, somewhere between then and A.J. Boye getting traded the day we were at UNF, I can remember the show.
Yeah, I remember.
That pivot happened. And they said, wait a minute. Oh, wait, we can trade Boye, we get a draft pick. We can trade Calais, we get a draft pick. We can unload this guy, we get money cleared out.
What changed in that period, though?
Well, we don't know that. We'll have to wait for the book to come out,
What can it possibly be? What can it possibly be where all of a sudden your Shad Khan's like, you know what? I like what we have here. To, you know what? Let's get some new guys coming in. Like, this is what I think. I think right now, Doug Marone and Dave Caldwell's jobs are a lot safer than you think right now.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
That's what I think. Because it's the only explanation of why you let go of Leonard Fournette. Because you're trying to build for the future right now. And then this is my point. To me, this season was supposed to be about Gardner Minshew. It's supposed to be about seeing, is he going to be the future quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars for the next 10 years to come? Did you somehow, out of all the chaos of this organization the past decade, luck into just a quarterback that's going to be your leader, he's going to be your staple, going to be that pillar for years to come? Did you look into it? Maybe, maybe not. So if we're talking about that right now, and we're talking about how Dave Caldwell and Doug Marone probably dangled Gardner Minshew in front of Shad Khan and said, listen, you can cut us right now if you want to, but look what we found in the 6th round. Let's see what this guy's got. So that, to me, is the reason why Dave Caldwell and Doug Marone are still here, is because of Gardner Minshew. So now you mean to tell me that you got rid of Leonard Fournette because it makes Gardner Minshew a better player? Because it doesn't. Okay, if I'm a defensive coordinator right now and I'm prepping for the Jacksonville Jaguars, if I was the Indianapolis Colts, week 1, defensive coordinator, I'm on the board. Do you know who my first game record is going to be? It's Leonard Fournette. We gotta stop the run, guys. We gotta stop Leonard Fournette. He's killed us before. We gotta stop Leonard Fournette. He's
think
gone
so?
now. Absolutely.
You think it's Leonard Fournette, or do you think, hey, we got to keep Gardner Minshew in the pocket? He can't beat us from inside the pocket. So what do you think is the number one thing on that board for the Indianapolis Colts on defense?
So you think right now, week 1, defensive coordinator is going to say, you know what? Gardner Minshew's the guy we got to beat. Don't worry about Leonard Fournette. He's fine.
I didn't say don't worry about Leonard Fournette.
But I'm saying the top priority. You're going to stop the pass over stopping the run first.
I think if I tell my team, if I'm an opponent of the Jaguars, I think I say, if we can keep Gardner Minshew inside the tackles, we win the game today.
They didn't respect Gardner Minshew last year. They're going to respect him this year now?
Well, he proved a little something to him. He showed him he can make some plays outside of that thing. He can run around a bit. Listen, I'm not saying they would ignore the Fournette part.
Yeah.
But I think they know what we know. They know Jay Gruden's there now. They know they're changing the offense around a little bit. I mean, we're probably talking semantics here. I'm not saying it's 1 in 10 on the list.
Well, listen, and we can say, oh, Jay Gruden's here, so Fournette's not going to be used. And what was Adrian Peterson being used for all those years ago?
But do you think the number one goal to stop the Washington Redskins was Adrian Peterson the last couple of years?
Absolutely.
Still?
And back when Gruden had his 7-9 season, and you had Adrian Peterson rush for 1,600 yards, who do they have a wide receiver? Nobody. I mean, that was the focus of the offense.
Of a threat.
Yeah, I mean, you had what?
Was that still with Cousins? Was he still there at that
Alex
time?
Smith, I believe. I think it was Alex Smith.
Oh,
Don't
Alex
quote me
Smith
on it.
went over there.
But what? So you had Vernon Davis, you had Jordan Reed.
Yeah.
I'm stopping the run. That's what I'm doing right now as well.
Yeah, and listen, I get the focus on the run game. Again,
Yeah.
this might be a little bit semantics. I understand your point. What I differ with you right now is, and I differ with a lot of folks that believe this, that these moves are signs that Shad Khan has locked these guys into next year. And some people are mixed. Some people believe like, well, Marone's still kind of fighting for his job. He goes 2-14 or whatever it is. Some people believe like Caldwell's automatic coming back. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think these moves have set it's actually, in a strange way, has set Shad Khan up in maybe a good way from an ownership standpoint. One, these guys knock their socks off, his socks off, and they do better than anybody thinks, and Minshew is the guy. Or Minshew does well, and it's something you can work with, so you don't need to go get the next quarterback. Or everything's a flop, and you're set up very well looking in the draft and potentially for future coaches and GMs to make this an attractive spot. If, again, and you got to put it all into context, but if we go back to December and the mess of Jalen Ramsey was still stinking around here, the stench of that, Yannick Ngakoue was a problem because of that situation. The Jaguars had 2 quarterbacks on the roster. In December or late December, if you fire Doug Marone and Dave Caldwell, how attractive is the Jacksonville Jaguars job? I know it's one of 32. I get it. Man. Somebody they would hire. I'm saying you want the best.
How attractive was Carolina job? But they still got Matt Rule. Carolina job, how attractive was that job? They still got their guy. It happens all the time, Brent.
Yeah, you can, but you got to get. It's a lot harder to get your guy. He went through this process one other time.
Carolina got their guy.
Do you think Doug Marone was the top choice from the get-go?
Do you think Matt Rule is the top choice in Carolina? And what do they have at Carolina right now?
Well, Matt Rule might have been the top choice, but they also had to give him like an 8-year contract to get him there. That's not a very that people don't get those jobs in the NFL like that. He got all this leeway.
Yeah.
And he got to do it all. He wanted to rip it down. They got rid of Cam Newton.
But if that's your guy, then that's your guy. Then so be it. Like, the point is you're committed to your guy. Like, I just can't come along with you and say Dave Caldwell and Doug Marone are tidying the place for the next suitors here. Because you know what that means to me? Then you're tanking. And if you have that kind of mindset, if you're a GM right now and you're trying to tidy up this place for the next GM to come in, then just get out, man. What are you doing?
Well, you're getting $2.5 million check, number one, and you're, as a competitor, saying, hey, I can do this anyway. Watch.
All right, man. I just don't think I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, man, but you can't be successful like thinking like that.
I think Florida Gator fans this is the relationship I see of it, okay? Go back to when Florida and Urban Meyer left. And if you remember that situation, and listen, this won't be apples to apples, college game and stuff, but this is what it reminds me of. Will Muschamp comes in, and I think second year they did really well. I think it was second year. I think they had 11 wins. And third year, they don't do very well at all. And people are like, you got to get out of here. This guy's not the guy. I mean, I think like a 4-win season, whatever. Well, they kept him. And they kept him again. And most people say, what are we doing here? What are you doing? This isn't the right guy. And they kept him again. And as it came out, as they said goodbye to Muschamp after that next season, it started to come out that Muschamp had cleaned up basically the Meyer mess over those years. He cleaned up the program. He got some of those bad apples out of the program. Again, I don't want this to be apples to apples in terms of what the Jags are doing. It reminds me a little bit of that. It's like, hey, you go try to save your job and prove that you're the right guy and go try to get us as many wins as possible. But in the back of my mind as the AD that year, you're still kind of cleaning up that mess. And we got one more year of this. It might be worth it until we're all clean and then we look good for the next guy coming in and we're kind of fixed and cleansed, if you will. I kind of feel like Shad Khan is in that situation. Hey, Doug and Dave, if you win big and if you surprise us, that's great. Maybe you are the right guys going forward. Maybe it was Coughlin's fault. But if you don't, my house looks pretty darn good for the next guy coming in.
Okay, man. Yeah, I mean, I just don't agree with that kind of philosophy.
Well, that's fine.
And yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Well, we're trying to figure out. Then it's either that or they're just so. Wait a minute. How different is that than we are tanking? So now you think the Jags are tanking.
Correct.
But they have Dave Caldwell and Doug Marone here to tank.
No,
you just told me that guys don't lose on purpose.
This is our difference right here. You think that Dave Caldwell and Doug Marone, they're gone. They're absolutely gone. And I'm here to say I don't think they are.
Themselves.
How do you save yourself in this season?
Well,
how many
if
wins?
You get 7 wins, you've exceeded expectations.
7 wins you think is going to – no, I'm saying set the over-under right now. How many games does Dave Caldwell and Doug Marone have to win this year in order to save their job?
7.
And I think it's a lot lower than that. I think if they win 4 games, 3 games, I think they're still going to be okay. I think the fact that they've, have a lot of draft picks coming up now, and obviously we'll see what happens with Trevor Lawrence. If you dangle that Trevor Lawrence carrot, it's like, well, you know what? We got you all these picks. Let's ride this out. I can see them coming back again. And that's our biggest fundamental difference right now, is that I think Dave Caldwell and Doug Marone's jobs are a lot safer than you do.
Well, here's one more thing, okay? You also say that do you think they've been told that, hey, this is a build back up. This is year 1 of it for you. And you're back in 2021? Look at this as a 2-year project. Like, do you feel like that's what they've been told? They've been given that assurance?
How else should I take it, Brent? Because if they haven't been told that, then why are you trading Leonard Fournette away? I'm not trading away. I'm sorry. Why are you just letting him go? I almost said trade. That would be crazy. Why? Wow. Hello. Why are you letting Leonard Fournette go then?
It's a mirror. You don't think they don't want to deal with him anymore. Dude, Doug Marone says doesn't want to deal with him anymore.
Yeah, but we both agree on this, man. Leonard Fournette makes that offense better if he's on the team as opposed to not being on the team. We agree with me with that or not? Or do you not agree with that?
I agree with you.
Okay, so if that's the case right now, and I'm supposedly trying to fight for my job and prove Shad Khan wrong that I am indeed the guy for the job, then how can I co-sign on letting Leonard Fournette walk out the door for number one, nothing? If at least you're worried about the future, then try to hang on to him and trade him for something. Get some kind of draft capital. Get something where you can say, you know what, Shad? Wasn't a lot, but this is what we got for Leonard Fournette going forward. You didn't do any of that. You just let the guy go. So once again, if I'm Doug Marone, if I'm Dave Caldwell, I'm fighting and I'm scratching, doing everything in my power to try to win as many games as possible. And if I'm not, that means that somebody from the higher-ups has told me, you know what? Don't worry about it too much. Your jobs just might be safe.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk more about it in just a moment. We got a guest on the line. It's a special day over at Timuquana Country Club Champions Tour. Jim Furyk, he's got his event coming up in 2021. A little media day out there, and some of this Jags news got in the way of that for me, but still, nonetheless, we love Jim Furyk, and the Champions Tour is coming to the Jacksonville area in 2021 at Timuquana Country Club. Jim Furyk and Davis Love III were over there today, and right now, one of the big folks involved in the tournament for 2021 is Mark Houston, the president of Constellation. He joins us on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Mark, we got a little excitement from us here. We're emotional in Jacksonville on a day that Leonard Fournette gets released. So sorry to walk into this beehive.
Hey, Brent, it's great to be with you here today, and I'll steer clear of the football.
Hey, tell us a little bit about the event coming up. I know it's still kind of a far way off, but you know Jim Furyk, one of the great guys in golf, one of the great guys in Jacksonville. They've done such a good job, him and his wife Tabitha, giving back to the Jacksonville area. How excited are you guys about this event coming up in a little bit over a year?
We're really excited. You know, they came to us a little over a year ago with this idea to host an event in their hometown to give back to the local community, and we were very fortunate for them to give us first crack at being the title sponsor. So we're really excited about it.
Mark Houston with us, president of Constellation. They're very much involved with Jim Furyk's golf event coming up in 2021 at Timuquana Country Club. How about the Champions Tour? I mean, Phil Mickelson obviously just won. Furyk just won in his first time out. This reminds me of kind of the Champions Tour or Senior Tour back then of maybe 20 years ago when you had some special talents out there. There was some good golf on the Champions Tour.
Absolutely. It feels like a new jump start for the Champions Tour, which, you know, we've done a lot of work with over the years. And this new event that Jim's going to be hosting in Jacksonville, and obviously with Phil, both of them winning in their inaugural events, I think it'll be an exciting time for the Champions Tour.
Mark Houston with us, president of Constellation. Jim Furyk's golf tournament coming up a little bit over a year. What happens between now and then, Mark? It's a long way off, but obviously there's a media day today, some awareness about it. Timuquana, what you guys are going to do, what Jim's going to do. What happens in the next, say, 12 to 14 months?
A huge amount of planning. You know, Tabitha Furyk's really taken the lead with our Constellation team to make sure we have sponsors, volunteers, we have all the logistics worked out. They've really held a tremendous party with their Furyk and friends the past 10 years. And we really want to replicate that excitement with the local community, make sure the local community is fully engaged and part of this event, given that we really give the $500,000 that we're donating to local charities back to the local community. So a lot of planning going into it. And then as we get closer to the event, obviously we'll have a team from Constellation that will be down there early before the event begins to make sure all the logistics are in place, working with the Champions Tour and Tabitha. So a year is not that far away.
No, absolutely not. It'll go by fast. This is one of those things, Mario. It's just win for everybody, right? Golf, great golf course, great golf area in Jacksonville. Good people, Jim and Tabitha Furyk. You get a chance to give back to the community as well. I mean, it just about seems to check every box.
It really is a feel-good, especially in these difficult times. When we show up at this event, our customers, our business partners, the local community, it's going to be a win across the board. And for us, you know, we've been with Jim Furyk for over 20 years. We've gotten to know him. He's a friend, and he's a partner. And now we have Tabitha really helping us take it to the next level. So it's I hope everyone comes out and enjoys themselves and partakes.
Mark Houston, president of Constellation, involved with the Jim Furyk and Friends golf tournament coming up on the Champions Tour, October 2021. Timuquana Country Club. You got an awesome venue for it, awesome people. Hey, we're looking forward to it. Let's catch up again before the tournament starts up.
All right. Thanks so much, Brent. Take care.
All right, Mark Houston, appreciate it. Absolutely. We look forward to that event. We're supposed to be out there today at Media Day, and Stewart was out there and got some reaction from Jim and Davis Love. So he'll have that coming up tonight on Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30. But cool event coming to town. That's pretty neat. It shows you how deep into the community the Furyks are. You know, they're from Pennsylvania, but well, they're really not in my mind. They're from here. Yeah. And they have done such a tremendous job giving back to the community. And obviously Constellation, Mark Houston, and others are going to help them out do that even more in 2021 and beyond. By the way, I think there's a pretty long-term contract involved with that Champions Tour event here in Jacksonville. You know, if we had Furyk on, he'd have a comment or two about this. He loves his football.
Oh, yeah.
So
I want to get his thoughts about it.
He would. I mean, we're not going to have him on, but I'm saying he would. He'd have a comment about it. No doubt about it.
What do you think would be more frustrating, my swing or his comments about the Jaguars right now? If he was to break my swing down.
Your swing.
Okay.
No doubt.
It's got power, though.
All right, we're not done with this stuff. We come back. We continue to talk about Leonard Fournette, but let's also dive into Yannick Ngakoue as well. What does that say about everything? Oh, boy. Here we go. Your call's still welcome. 904-362-9901. 9901. star 690, also the number. Jump in the conversation. What do you think about the news of the last 2 days? Oh, my gosh. What's coming up tomorrow? Who knows? Don't sleep tonight. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Scattered showers and a few storms into this evening. Clearing skies overnight, warm and muggy in the mid-70s. Partly sunny tomorrow. Scattered afternoon showers and storms, a high of 90. And Wednesday will be partly sunny, more afternoon thunderstorms in the low 90s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get 0 down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Hi, I'm Dr. Anita Chandra with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Recent cases of measles in the United States have caused serious illness and have many parents concerned. This virus is incredibly contagious. If your child is not vaccinated, they're likely to get the measles if they're exposed. The good news is the measles vaccine is very safe and effective. Remember, the best way to protect your children, your family, and your community is to be immunized. If you have questions, talk with your pediatrician or visit healthychildren.org.
Nobody gives back like Diamonds Direct. That's right, it's back. Our most popular offer, 5 years, 0 interest financing. September is the time to buy at Diamonds Direct. Get the best price, plus spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And every purchase made in September will benefit No Kid Hungry's mission to end childhood hunger right here in our community. Buy now, spread your payments over 5 years, and give at Diamonds Direct on approved credit. Visit diamondsdirect.com for details.
Internal Revenue Service. When you owe a personal or business tax debt and can't pay, just hearing those 3 words brings feelings of fear and anxiety. I'm Jonathan David Suryash, Managing Tax Attorney at J. David Tax Law. Everyone knows that if you owe the IRS and don't pay, it's only a matter of time before tax liens, wage garnishments, or bank levies happen to you. The first step to resolution is our no-cost consultation. We take the time to go through your specific tax problem step by step. We explain exactly what your options are and how we will resolve your tax issue. J. David Tax Law is a local firm right here in Jacksonville, where only an experienced tax attorney will represent you. Our fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. If you have tax problems, call us now for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777, or find us on the web at jdavidtaxlaw.com. That's jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. End of summer savings have been extended at Beard's Diamonds.
Right now at Beard's, take advantage of 5 years, 0 interest financing.
Yes, 5 years, 0 interest financing with 0 down.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500. You pay just $25 a month. 5 years, 0 interest is about to end. So hurry to Beard's Diamonds.
Located at the St. John's Town Center.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. StarStar Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by StarStar, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing StarStar Mobile from your mobile phone. That's StarStar Mobile. When prospective customers see your offline or online ad and they dial your branded StarStar Mobile number, StarStar Mobile helps to convert them through text, voice, and online communications. Give it a try now by dialing StarStar Mobile from your mobile phone. That's StarStar Mobile.
Jackson This Together is not just a hashtag. We believe it, and we are living it, all of us. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. These may be uncertain times, but we can still lift each other up, share a laugh, a smile, and even a shout out. If you would like to recognize someone, maybe a healthcare worker, a truck driver, someone who works for a local restaurant, or maybe it's someone's birthday, call ** 690. Leave a message and we will share it on ESPN 690. That's ** 690. Give it a call and help make somebody's day.
Brent Martineau.
They probably already have one. Cornholing.
Austin Lane.
You're going to have a call from PR in a little bit here.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Leonard Fournette hasn't really lived up to the billing in which they thought he would. And it's not all his fault. Some is due to injury, some is due to system and scheme. Whatever team he goes to next, I'm sure he could be the dynamic runner that we saw in the past, both in the NFL and at LSU, because I think he's a good football player. You just got to know how to use him in what he is. In Jacksonville can't get out of their own way, whether it's Yannick, whether it's Jalen Ramsey, now Fournette. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. They signed Nick Foles to a huge deal. A year later, they part ways with him because Minshew decided to have a few good games. I mean, it's just Jacksonville. What can you say? The Jaguars. That's all you can really say.
Well, Keyshawn reading headlines.
Yeah, national attention, baby. National headlines. Here we are, Brent. Get excited, man.
How many games do you think Keyshawn Johnson watched?
Of the Jaguars?
Leonard Fournette play.
Oh, Leonard Fournette.
In a Jags uniform.
He was more of a West Coast guy, wasn't he, last year? Probably not too many.
I mean, he's not alone. I'm not killing him for that, but he got some catching up to do, most likely, like a lot of the national folks do. But the national perceptive is actually married to the local perception today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't you get that feel? It's often different. But now the perception is they're tanking. That's the thought, the narrative.
Yeah.
And here's what else. I got a call today, about ready to go on at noon. And I got a call from a buddy at like 11:50 this morning. And it wasn't even hello. It was, what are we doing? Like, what are the... It was like, if you're looking for me to tell you what it's supposed to mean.
So,
listen, I would love some guidance from that front office.
Yeah.
In trying to maybe help figure out what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to sit down in private for a lunch and say, okay, come on. Even if I can't share it all, give me the philosophy here.
Yeah.
The idea.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, you're not just throwing stuff at the wall, really. I mean, we're like, there is a plan here. What's the plan?
Yeah.
And so I'm with you on that. I don't know. Like, I'm fishing for it, too. And I try to think around it, and thinking around it sometimes puts me in, like, that front office seat, and people are like, oh, yeah, you're spinning it. I'm not really. I'm just trying to come up with a way. The bottom line is you can be mad at Dave Caldwell, Shad Khan, Tony Khan, Tom Coughlin, all these people.
Yeah.
The reality is it's here. This is what the Jags are. So what are the Jags? Why are they here? And where are they going? Is a reasonable question to ask and try to figure out. I mean, that's what we're tasked with. We're like, okay, they're either tanking.
Yeah.
Which, if you think they're tanking and that's the end of the story, well, then let's just cancel the show for the rest of the. Right? I mean, if that's the end of the story, there might be more to the story. Is my point.
Yeah.
And is tanking the right move? Like, by the way, tanking has such a negative connotation.
First of all, don't. It should.
It should.
Okay, thank you.
But not doing very well, rather than being muddied up at 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins for a 5-year period, does not help you either. We've seen that in the NFL. You are better off being very good, or you are better off being very bad because you can get better quickly the way the NFL model is built.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens. And you know what else they figured out? Other sports figured this out. So Houston, did they tank? No, but they didn't set their team up very well for success. Atlanta Braves, did they tank? Well, they didn't admit they did, but they didn't set their team up very well for success. I think the Cleveland Indians did a little bit of this. The Cincinnati Reds recently did this. The Chicago Cubs had done it as well. And it's worked for them. It's worked to, hey, let's bottom out here, clean it up, and then come back.
Okay, besides the Cubs, though, define worked. How many championships you won since you tanked?
Houston.
Okay, the Astros. Well, the Astros built through the farm system, though.
No. Houston is the best example and the earliest example of absolutely tanking. For the 3-year stretch, Houston, I think it was like 11, 12, 13, but I might have my years off.
Okay.
They were brutal.
Okay.
Like, actually, I remember saying the Houston model is what the Jags were trying to do in 13 and 14.
Okay.
They were so bad they stripped it down, but they were going to take those draft picks, try to hit them. The difference is Jags didn't hit on any of the first-round picks. Houston, go back and look at their first-round picks.
So you're saying tanking, whatever you want to call it, tanking or not, you still haven't said the T word. Are the Jaguars tanking or not, Brent? People want to know. No, I don't want to hold you there. But
well, you can.
But here's what I'm going to say, though. So,
No.
And listen, and I see it out. Well, first of all, let me go back real quick. The reason I thought about Leonard Fournette getting let go today, because when I was doing my workout, I got a text message from one of our friends at ESPN 1000. And they texted me and said, hey, Leonard Fournette and the Bears, what should we know about him? And I'm like, so that's all I had to go off. I'm like, well, they're not going to trade him to Chicago, I don't think. Like, the season's right around the corner. And I'm like, I don't know. He's a good player. Like, he's, kind of the featured back in Jacksonville. I'm sure he would be fine on the Chicago Bears. And I go, good luck with that. Because, like, it's not, you're not going to trade him to Chicago right now. What are you thinking? And then literally, like, two minutes later, they text me back and go, I think we should get him. And I'm like, what is going on? What are you talking about? Go on Twitter, and it's everywhere. So, like, that was my introduction to Leonard Fournette getting let go. And then I've gotten a couple messages saying, what's wrong with Fournette? What's wrong with Fournette? I don't know. I don't know if I'm not seeing something. I don't think anything's wrong with Fournette. I think what you get is what you get. And what you see on the field, whether you like him or, you think he's underachieved, whatever be the reason, I agree with you, Brent. 2017, big part of that success was Leonard Fournette. I think last year he was the receiving leader in terms of receptions, and you let him go. So regardless about that now, but let's go forward, right? Tanking. Are they tanking? Are they not tanking? Here's the thing. I'm seeing a lot of, Trevor Lawrence coming in, Trevor Lawrence coming in. And one could think right now that the Jaguars are setting up for that. Now, once again, I'm not saying the players in the locker room are taking, Brent, because you know how this works. And no, you never played in the NFL, but you've covered it long enough and you know how this works. Players in that locker room, they're not tanking. They can't afford to tank. Because if you go out there and don't give 100% effort, your butt is going to be gone. So those players in that locker room, they're absolutely giving their heart and soul for this season. They're absolutely going out there trying to win a division, trying to go to the playoffs, trying to go to the Super Bowl. If you're not, then you'll be weeded out real quick and you'll be let go. I don't care how good you are. It's not how the NFL works. So the players aren't tanking, but all these moves right now, man, whether it was, once again, Calais Campbell, A.J. Boye, which was kind of a little red flag a little bit, Yannick Ngakoue, all right, well, he didn't really want to be here. You kind of got a discount. I think we're getting that a little bit here. Okay, another little red flag. And then this Leonard Fournette thing, which wasn't even a flag. It was a bat signal in the entire sky where the whole world could see. I think you're tanking. And my issue with that is if you're trying to garner the draft capital to go after a quarterback or whatever the piece is going to be, probably a quarterback, obviously, I just ask you to say this. Everyone's saying Trevor Lawrence right now. Trevor Lawrence. He's the next Andrew Luck. He's graded out as high as Andrew Luck did when he came out of college. You remember the Andrew Luck hype?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I remember playing for the Jaguars, man. It's like, first Peyton Manning and now Andrew Luck. How is that fair to me? Can we just? No offense, but we have Blaine Gabbert. We got Andrew Luck coming in now. Like,
no offense taken.
Yeah, but how is that gonna come on, man? Colts, can you have a couple sucky seasons, please? Like Andrew Luck transition. But here's the question for you. Of all the hype of Andrew Luck had out of college, and he was the chosen one, he was going to be Peyton Manning's, replacement, and then he's going to lead him to the promised land. How many Super Bowls did Andrew Luck go to?
None.
Well, there you go then. So just because you're tanking, just because maybe you luck into something, no pun intended, where you have this once-in-a-generational type quarterback, spoiler alert, doesn't mean you're going to go to the Super Bowl.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But here's the thing. Here's the one thing that I thought of a lot in the last day or so. And when people are asking me all these questions, like, what are they doing? Like, what's going on? Like this 2017 to 2020 comparison, which is endless. All this stuff. And it's like, does come back to this. If you don't, it doesn't matter if you don't find that QB.
Yeah.
Like people talk about these draft picks have been awful. Yes. I've seen the whole thing. You can't keep them for more than 5 years. Yes. But even with the guys the Jaguars drafted, take away Bortles. Once Bortles didn't work, or if Bortles had worked, all the rest would work better. All the rest you'd find a way. You can get rid of Jalen and you can get rid of this guy, but you have Bortles playing really good football. Let's use a different, like if it's luck that you ended up having, well, then you can do things. Your down cycle is not very long because you have that guy. If you have Calais Campbell, Yannick Ngakoue, Telvin Smith, Miles Jack, Jalen Ramsey, A.J. Boye, all these guys, you have this great defense, but you have Blake Bortles as your quarterback, you need everything to go right. And you need everything to go right the next year. And the next year. And you have to draft well. You have to replace well. You have to hope you don't get hurt. Why? Because you're making up for the quarterback. And so all these conversations, don't matter until you find the core. They do matter, and it matters in the ebbs and flows. But if you want consistent success, and that's what Jacksonville's after, that's what they're trying to figure out how to do down there.
Yeah.
You can't do it without the quarterback. You can't. You can't find me an organization that has consistently done well without an above-average to great quarterback.
Okay.
So you have to find that.
Sure, you have to find it. But I'm going to say this, though. All right? If you're the Denver Broncos and you go to the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, it wasn't just you drafted Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was there. Do you know why? Because you drafted well before that. You re-signed some guys in the draft before that.
They did well in free agency.
And the last piece was Peyton Manning. That worked. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's never been an elite quarterback to me. Where's he at right now? Where's Joe Flacco at right now?
Where do you go to the Jets?
No, I honestly have no idea.
I think he did.
Super Bowl MVP, though, right? But guess what? You had players around him. Once again, you drafted well. You re-signed those players. You brought free agents in when their time to go. You had a culture built up. So Joe Flacco, all he had to do was just show up. Eli Manning. Now, there's always a debate. Is Eli Manning a lead or not? Was he ever a top 5 quarterback? I'm going to say no. I don't think Eli Manning ever in his career was a top 5 quarterback. But guess what? He was surrounded by greatness. Once again, you drafted well. You brought in free agents, and you signed the right guys. And you go to the Super Bowl, and you beat the Patriots. Not once, but you've done it twice. So I get what you're saying, where if you have a quarterback, you build around him, that's fantastic. Good for you. But I'm also saying that's not necessarily the exact blueprint that you need to be successful.
Well, it's not the ultimate. It doesn't mean you win Super Bowls, but it means you consistently have a chance to compete, is my point. And your down cycles are not as desperately down as the Jags have been. You don't go 11 out of 12 years with losing. You don't probably recycle all these players because there's belief in that quarterback. He sets the culture, that quarterback. All those, there's a big domino effect with having a good quarterback, or at least an above-average guy people believe in.
But what are we talking about with Matthew Stafford then, Brent? Matthew Stafford's always put up big numbers. Matthew Stafford's always been a dependable quarterback, hence why they never even thought about replacing him after all these years. What has Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions done the past decade?
I would say that's a great example of probably an outlier.
Okay.
And I think it's fair to wonder, everybody thinks Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback. He's a prolific quarterback. Mm-hmm. Does that mean he's a great quarterback? Well, he hasn't elevated that franchise to be. I don't think people put him in elite category often. Elite passers, elite arms, elite numbers, because he's throwing the ball a lot, but he hasn't had elite wins. And quarterbacks are supposed to do that. It's a great example of probably a bit of an outlier in Detroit where they haven't been able to fit the pieces around to be a consistent winner as well, despite having him. And it's fair. That's a good example. I just don't think you're going to find many of them, is my point.
Well, and you're right there. There's not many of them out there.
And by the way, I'm saying that you're not going to find many people are asking for consistency. If you had signed if you had hit on Jokel, or if you've hit on Ramsey and sign Ramsey, if not, you sign Jan back. Well, without the quarterback, they're still kind of like just trying to compete for the division. Not really a threat in any way. They need to do that piece. And we all know that. I mean, everybody knows. They need to find the quarterback. Is Minshew the guy? Is Trevor Lawrence the guy? Is whoever the guy? But over the next couple of years, this isn't changing without the quarterback is the point. It doesn't matter how many good young players. DJ Chark can be very good. Miles Jack can turn into a star. C.J. Henderson can be very good. If you don't find a quarterback and you don't hit the lightning in the bottle that Blake Bortles gave you, you're really not going far.
All right, Brent, but let's talk about the Tennessee Titans real quick, right? Like, you and I both agree that Ryan Tannehill got overpaid way by $100 million. You kidding me? And you're not a Ryan Tannehill fan. No. You said that many times on the show before, but you still paid him. And you know what? The Titans went to the AFC Championship game last year.
They got lightning in a bottle.
But you know what?
We'll see if they have any lightning left.
But I think, is there more confidence this year with the Tennessee Titans or the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Well, I ask you this.
Yeah.
And I'm not in Nashville.
Yeah.
I would say the confidence in the Tennessee Titans this year, going into the year, is what it was in Jacksonville in 2018.
Okay. But do you think the Titans...
Fair enough?
Fair enough. But do you think the Titans are going to be better than the Jaguars were after that season? Because I think so.
I think so, because it's hard to lose 9 in a row. I mean, everything went wrong. But I don't think they're going to be great. I don't have them picking the division.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be around a 500 team. But I think the Tannehill thing's going to blow up a little bit in them, because I feel like we've lived that.
But I just think that they have a culture and they have a coach in place that has the vision. And once again, I mean, it'll be very telling, because I don't have the answer, neither do you. We'll see.
Or they found that a guy has hit stride at the quarterback spot. But Tannehill will have to do his part. The culture and Derrick Henry are not going to be enough to do it.
Okay.
He's still going to have to play well.
Sure.
Now, he might not have
absolutely.
to play as well as he played, but he's going to have to play above average quarterbacking for them to be a successful team, I would think. Who do we have on the line, Andrew? Andrew's on the line. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We're going to talk about Yannick Ngakoue in a moment, but what's up, Andrew?
Hey, Brent. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to kind of ask you a little bit more about your thoughts on Fournette. I mean, how do you think Caldwell's setting up the Jags for success by getting rid of Fournette? I mean, I feel like essentially he's setting up Minshew for failure. I mean, he's turning at what used to be a multi-dimensional offense into like the Gardner Minshew show. I mean, I just don't feel like he's giving him a lot of weapons to work with. What are your thoughts on that?
Andrew, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for jumping in on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. You can too, 904-362-9901. I think Austin and I both agree that this doesn't help Minshew. I don't know if failure is the right word, but it doesn't set him up for as much success. I've been a believer that Fournette coming back was a good thing for this offense. So I don't think this is void of that. I don't know if failure is exactly the case because I do think Minshew will have a chance to prove things, but it's certainly not helpful. And that's why this is such a hard question to answer what Andrew asked. There's got to be something underlying, whether it's with teammates or coaches or whatever, that they are not going to say publicly that they think they're better off. I enlighten you on the quote from Marone once again. He said, we're trying to find the best players that give us the best chance to win. Those are two separate things. They basically said, this best player doesn't give us the best chance to win. And the only thing I can read into that is there's a chemistry problem with that guy.
Well, then I invite you to look at Chris Thompson's comments. A brand new guy who's essentially taking over for Leonard Fournette. And I had nothing but nice things to say about Leonard Fournette. Listen, real quick. Gardner Minshew, you're doing him no favors right now. And if you're not going to set him up for success, the opposite of success is failure. So, yeah, I think you're setting up Gardner Minshew for failure right now. You really are, because at the end of the day, whether it's his ability in the receiving game, his ability to run the football, or his ability in pass protection, which Ryko Armstead hasn't done a lot of. Chris Thompson is a good pass protector. But once again, are we setting Leonard Fournette? Are we setting Gardner Minshew up for success or failure? That should have been the whole goal this season. You bring in Gruden, you bring in Shenault. Why? For Gardner Minshew. Is he the quarterback going forward? Now you take a key cog of that offense away. It's a detriment to Gardner Minshew.
Well, guess what? We're going to find out in about 13 days. Hey, when we come back, we'll get to the Yannick Ngakoue stuff. Which says more about the Jags organization? This Yan saga over 15 months or the Fournette, the way this thing was handled?
I like it.
And the answer to that by someone was yes. I get it. We got one more hour to go on a busy, busy Monday. Thanks for hanging with us on ESPN 690. This is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Been feeling a little cooped up lately? Well, you should buy a boat. Want to get away from people for a while? You should buy a boat. Been dying to get back on the water? You should buy a boat. Want to finance up to 100% of a new boat and get 60 days of no payments? Then you should buy a boat with the help of 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Apply online at 121fcu.org. That website again is 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Isn't it time you bought a boat?
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent. With help from Family Support Services of North Florida, you provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs and make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Hunt Hawkins, CEO of Steinmart and chair of the 2020 First Coast Heart Walk. The 2020 Heart Walk is going virtual, and while we might not be able to meet in person, we still need you to support the American Heart Association's mission of being a force for a world of longer, healthier lives. Register and start a fundraising team today at firstcoastheartwalk.org, and then make plans to join us on Saturday, September 12th to Heart Walk where you are. Let's make a difference in the fight against heart disease and stroke. Register today at firstcoastheartwalk.org.
Locally sponsored by Steinmart, Florida Blue, and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Diamonds Direct right now, there's nothing standing in your way of owning that magnificent piece of jewelry. Nothing. No down payment and no finance charges for 5 whole years. People are driving for hours to do this. On any purchase, just take that amazing Diamonds Direct price, divide by 60, and that's your payment. It's a smart way to buy. Keep your money in your pocket and still get that amazing ring or band or bracelet, even that bigger diamond. 5 years, 0 interest on any purchase on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct.
Of Town Center Parkway.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rubinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, treatments are affordable.
Men. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, call Prime Men's Medical Center for a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians. Call 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105.
You ready for some good news? No, make that great news. You know that new Toyota you've been wanting? It's as good as yours thanks to the huge savings going on now at Arlington Toyota. Every new Toyota Arlington's got is on sale. In fact, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. Want to drive away in a new Toyota with no payments? Right now at Arlington, you can. Get no payments for 90 days on your new Toyota purchase. Every single day at Arlington, you're going to have over 750 new and quality pre-owned to choose from on the lot, ready for you to drive home today. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a nationwide lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. But wait, there's more. It's time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington. Wait no more. Now's the time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August savings for full details.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Finding the next job is a big job, and that part of what you do is a little tough right now. Because of that, Lowe's for Pros is here to help. Get $400 in leads on us with a free 1-year subscription from HomeAdvisor to connect to jobs that make sense for you. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/proloyalty to get started. Just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Now let's get to work. Subscription and $400 lead credit subject to home advisor's approval and terms. Valid for new home advisor customers only. Lowe's loyalty required. More terms apply. Valid through 9/9 U.S. only.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Padres involved in a fifth trade since Saturday and picked up an ace in the process. On this MLB trade deadline day, San Diego acquired starter Mike Clevenger from the Indians. Cleveland got a package of young players in return. Padres, seeking their first postseason appearance since 2006, are 5 back of the Dodgers in the NL West and certainly are not intimidated by L.A., explains ESPN's Mark Teixeira.
The Padres are a team that in that division, they know the Dodgers. They're not scared of the Dodgers. And while they may not have the overall talent, with the moves they've made over the last few days, they've got a puncher's chance now against the Dodgers in the division.
Arizona traded outfielder Starling Marte to Miami, also dealt pitcher Robbie Ray to Toronto and sent closer Archie Bradley to the Reds. A's acquired pitcher Mike Minor from the Rangers. John Thompson, the legendary Georgetown men's basketball coach, has died at the age of 78. The Hall of Famer, the first black coach to lead a team to an NCAA men's basketball championship, was a pioneer credited with opening the door for a generation of minority coaches who followed him.
Check the clock. It's dinner time, baby. Go for Church's new Go Box tonight. Your choice of chicken, sides, and biscuits to feed 6 or more, starting at $20. What you waiting for? Church's, bringing that down-home flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I think this was really necessary for Minnesota. When you go back to the start of the offseason, they lost all 3 corners from last year, Rhodes, Waynes, Mackenzie Alexander. So when you're trying to replace 3 corners, the best way to cover that is with a good pass rush. When they lose Griffin, getting Ngakoue was really important. And I think it says a lot about Minnesota that they can attract a player like Yannick Ngakoue, who also takes a pay cut. So I think they're all in for this year. And Ngakoue, again, because they lost 3 corners, was really necessary for them.
Who was that, Goose? Oh, it's Mike Tannenbaum. Thank you. From ESPN. Talking about the Yannick Ngakoue trade. An hour to go here on the show. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos, quick Friday story. Sorry to bump wrestling out of the way.
Yeah, man. So, just to pile on what was just a crazy weekend and obviously a crazy day today. So, Friday night, we always have taco night, and then Rones and I, we watch wrestling, SmackDown, WWE SmackDown on Friday. Starting at 8 o'clock, goes till 10. After 10 o'clock, he goes to bed, and it is what it is. So we were excited, Brent, because obviously got Roman Reigns coming back, which I'm sure you know. Bray Wyatt was going to address some things with the Firefly Funhouse. So it was an action-packed show, ready to roll. My son couldn't have been more pumped up about it. I'm pumped up as well. We turn on the TV. We're talking about Fox 30, right?
Yes, sir.
Fox 30.
Good station.
Home of Action News Jax and Action Sports Jax and Brent Martineau, yours truly. We turn on the station, 8 o'clock, right on time, and we're watching a Jacksonville Jaguars game against the Miami Dolphins from, I don't know what year it was.
1999.
1999. And my son, who knows that the station is your station, goes, well, where's the wrestling? Where's Roman Reigns? And I go, I have no idea, buddy. This could be a second. It was some kind of accident. So I go on Twitter. I type in, SmackDown Jacksonville, and needless to say, there's a lot of disappointed SmackDown fans that found out that the Jaguars game took prestige, let's just say, over watching SmackDown Live. So SmackDown Live got moved to 11:45. My son missed it. Very upset with me. You let him down, Brent. Nice job. Way to go. And he's upset with you as well.
Why didn't he call me so I could go hit a button?
Well, that's the thing. So, because once again, he knows it's your station. So he's like, well, can we call Brent? Like, what, you tell him to change it over? Like, I don't think so, man. Brent let us down. I'm sorry, dude. Hey, it's over.
Listen, Ronan, here's the deal. I get calls like that every week about the NFL games. Can you just... Hey, let's call Brent and see if they'll switch games.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way. Sorry, wrestling fans, but we did have the classic game. I'm assuming, and I forget the the preseason schedule for the Jags, but I'm assuming they would have had a preseason game on that would have bumped it anyway.
Okay.
Because that's what we're replacing the preseason games with, some of the classic games
I gotcha.
from 1999. And
well, hey,
some people like it and some people don't.
Well, listen, hey, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you guys are paying my bills, so I'm not going to hate on it too much. But I'm just saying, there's a 5-year-old who'd like to have a word with you.
So what did they do? Did we slide wrestling back? So then you had to tape it.
So yeah, you slid wrestling back to like 11:45. Then
okay.
Yeah.
So did he stay up?
No. Kidding me? And guess what? I didn't DVR it either. So, yeah, it was a situation. I kind of told him the highlights, though.
All right. Well, yesterday, we think we're coming in here and we're talking about Yannick Ngakoue.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now it's 5 o'clock, 2 hours into the show, and we're just getting around to Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jan.
This old news. Sorry, yeah, for sure. After all Jan's given us, and he gets the last hour of the show.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I mean, I apologize. But not a shock, I guess. Or are you shocked that a deal got done? Let me say this. There's not near the surprise of the Leonard Fournette move, right? I mean, everybody knew something could happen.
Correct.
I lost another bet because I said he'd be in before Labor Day to Jacksonville. I honestly thought he would play in Jacksonville for at least the first 4 or 5 weeks. I really did.
Yeah.
And they would trade him. And they would have lost even more leverage in a trade like that. I was very fiery a couple weeks ago when the Lombardi report came out about a second-round pick only. I'm going to tell you this. Yeah, they got more than a second-round pick. They got a fifth-round pick. I guess I'm not as fiery over that, but I'm also not pleased with it. I tweeted right after. I said, we spent 15 months of this saga for a second-round, a fifth-round pick. I mean, I feel like I could have got that deal done last December.
Listen, shout out to Dave Caldwell for letting Leonard Fournette go. Because I mean, listen, if I came here on a Monday and Fournette wasn't a thing, I'd be pretty upset. I think over the Yannick. I'd be disappointed. I wouldn't be upset, but I'd be a little disappointed over trading Yannick Ngakoue around for a second pick and a fifth pick, or could be a fourth pick, if whatever.
You don't have emotion left.
I'm spent, man. I mean, I'm wasted. Like I've cried my last tear, as they say. No, listen, I think we're in the same boat here, Brent. Where's the fire? Okay? What's the rush right now? Right? Because if you know you can get a second-round pick right now for Yannick Ngakoue, who's to say in a couple weeks during the season, when injuries happen, if the COVID-19 bug hits and a team gets super desperate, you can't get a first-round pick from him? Who's to say that? And you know what? If you can't, then guess what? Then trade him away for that second-round pick down the road. Like, to me, it makes it – because you can't use that second-round pick tomorrow. You have to wait till the draft, right? So what's the rush? Where's the fire? And that's my issue with it. And I want to go back to something that you said a lot over these past couple months about Shad Khan. And Shad Khan trying to set a precedent right now of players trying to get out of town, right? Jalen Ramsey got the king's ransom, if you will, got out of town. Now, I think we could say what you want about Jalen Ramsey, the guy off the field, one of the best cornerbacks on the field. You traded him for 2 first-round picks. Didn't want to see him go, but you know what? You got 2 first-round picks for him. So you can't be too mad at that. But when we talk about setting the precedent of Shad Khan, when you talk about, you brought this up yourself a couple times. When you talk about, you know what? This is where I dig my feet in the ground. And I say, you know what? You're not going to get out of here that easy. All right? You want to get out? We're going to get a king's ransom for you too, Yannick Ngakoue, because you just can't say you want to get out of town and then get out of town. That's not how the football operations work around here. Well, to me, and I want to hear your opinion about it, to me, if we take the side of management versus the side of the player right now, the player won, okay? Yannick Ngakoue won. Now, yes, he took the pay cut and everything like that, a couple $1 million here, a couple $1 million here. To be fair, I don't think it really gives a you-know-what about that, because you know what? He's on a pretty damn good team right now in the Minnesota Vikings, poised to win a division, poised to make a playoff run. So if you ask me right now, who won between the Jacksonville Jaguars getting a second-round pick and a fifth-round pick for Yannick Ngakoue, or Yannick Ngakoue getting traded to the Minnesota Vikings? Yannick Ngakoue won all day.
Well, this lends to your thought, the players will end up winning, right? And the players end up winning. Now, this one wasn't – I don't know about a full-blown win, and we'll talk more about it from Jan's perspective in a moment. But just to answer your part of it, the only rationale I can consider, there's a lot going through my mind on this Jan one. One is, again, the trade deadline's coming in early October. That is the time when the Jags lose leverage. I've said that for, almost a year. That is when they lose, because now you have to get rid of him, or your only thing left is a compensatory pick if he gets a big deal in free agency, or to double down and franchise tag him and go through this again, which you're most likely not going to do. So they would get a third-round compensatory pick if he goes and signs a big deal eventually, in that draft. So if you can't beat the third-round compensatory pick, well, what are you doing here? They would lose more leverage. Like I said when Lombardi's report came out about a second round, I got out of my mind about just a second-round pick. But I said, by the time that NFL trade deadline comes around, that might be all you get.
Sure.
Because you have lost the leverage at that point.
Mm-hmm.
How much of a difference is there between 6 weeks? Yeah, you're rolling the dice that maybe somebody's desperate. You get a little bidding war. Maybe you might need multiple teams desperate in that situation.
True.
So how much changes in 5 or 6 weeks? I'm not sure. You roll the dice and maybe you get more because of the bidding war, some injuries that go on in the NFL, or maybe you actually get stuck with just a second-round pick. In this situation, the Jags get a second and a fifth. Makes me feel a tiny bit better, but not a lot. To me, it hasn't been worth all of it. And selfishly, listen, I like Jan as a player.
Yeah.
I wanted him to – I wanted some kind of resolution after all this. And that's where I take it to the next part of this. How did this get done? And I think there was a resolution of sorts. There was communication that happened between Caldwell and Jan multiple times down the last couple of weeks. I think that was enough to basically say, hey, Jan, what do you think, man? You want to try to give this a go? You want to try to dance here? And maybe Jan was like, listen, I still want out. I just, there's too much here. And maybe they smoothed it out and said, okay, I'll try to do the best I can for you. And then, because things did happen after the split from his representation to yesterday. And it happened kind of quickly. But I got this question. Is Yannick Ngakoue not back in Jacksonville because Yannick Ngakoue wanted out so badly still, even after those conversations with Caldwell? Or is Yannick Ngakoue potentially not in Jacksonville and there was no chance to smooth things over from the Jacksonville side because of what happened with Tony Khan earlier this year on social media? And was maybe if Jan was even saying, hey, okay, let's smooth this thing over. Let's see. Maybe I'll give it a whirl.
No.
Was Tony Khan saying, game over, I don't care, you're out of here, but we're sticking in the sand and we're going to trade you at our leisure, not ours? We don't know that. And I don't know, it's a semantic part of this. It lends to the narrative around the country today and yesterday has been, wow, he wanted out of Jacksonville so badly, which, by the way, he was very public about, that he took a $6 million pay cut to get out of Jacksonville. So if you're picking one side or the other, it's probably that. It's probably Jan still wanted out so badly that he's going to take a $6 million pay cut. But I do wonder about the Tony Khan factor here and what happened and what transpired, if that was never going to be reparable.
See, but then to me, Brent, it's a lose-lose from the front office perspective, because either you let a player run amok on Twitter, say something about, if you're the owner, your son, and then you get rid of him, or that had nothing to do with it, and you just got rid of him for, I think, a pretty low value. Once again, and you said it so eloquently many times before, where it's like, if you're Shad Khan, this is your chance to put your foot down. This is your chance to say, you know what, we're going to change things up around here, and you don't get what you want. Yannick Ngakoue's future was in Shad Khan's hands. It was in Tony Khan's hands, right? And instead of saying, you know what, we're playing hardball here, we're getting what we want for you, we're not going to give you the satisfaction of going to a playoff contending team. We're going to wait till we get what we want, and if you don't like it, too bad. Go ahead and sit. And you didn't do that. You essentially released him like a turtle dove in a romantic film where it's just like, you know what, go Yannick Ngakoue, go spread your wings and go to Minnesota and good luck to you. Like, you didn't do yourselves any kind of favors here. It was your chance to set a precedent. It was your chance to say, you know what, we're going to stay firm here, and you didn't. I think you did the exact opposite.
Yeah, I don't like this look by the Jags.
Yeah.
I think Jan won as well because he wanted out. I think the Jags lost because they lose their second. I cannot get over, and I've said this countless times if you've listened to this show, he is the second all-time in 26 years in sacks in Jacksonville Jaguars history. 37.5. And by the way, he just turned 25 years old. And by the way, he's not a bad teammate. He's not a bad locker room guy. You know you're going to pay him and get your money's worth. Calais Campbell endorsed that side of it.
That's a good point.
You lost because you lost a very good player. See, Jalen's different. Jalen might play for 4 teams in his career.
Sure.
Leonard is a little different because at the max you were going to get 1 more year out of him anyway, maybe 2 if things had worked out and you franchise tagged him, even if he was the best guy and part of your offense, all that stuff.
But just from the position that he plays, obviously it's risky.
But Jan could be here for 10 years, and he could own your sack record title, and he could be a part of it. So they lost on that front. To me, this is the one that stings the most because of that.
Yeah.
That it's finally gone. And to me, in the back of my mind, I always had hoped that they could, man, they draft Chase on. You got Josh Allen. We know he's good. And if you could have Yannick Ngakoue, I don't care. Find a way to get him on the team. Play somebody at safety if you have
NASCAR
to. Get
package,
him on the
man,
team.
absolutely.
Right? And you can never have enough of them. We know that. That's cliche, but it's true. And so this is the one to me that stings the most from that standpoint. And Jan got what he wanted. He got out of here. So I will say this about Jan, though. And this, listen, I like Jan. And I think at times it sounds like, at least with my conversations with Jan over the years, that I've kind of been against Jan, but I'm not. You cannot tell me, you cannot convince me, you just can't, that he didn't take a huge risk here. He lost a lot of money last year, and I understand. You can tell me how the thing was worked up and it wasn't enough and the language in it was this. The bottom line is he was going to get more than $2 million. If he had played through the 2020 season, he was going to get somewhere at the minimum of around $40 million in his pocket. And over that time, he's going to now get about $14 or $15 million. He lost a lot of money over the last 2 years. And I gave him a shout out on social media yesterday, and I was sincere. I got to give it to a guy who's that principled. To lose $25 million. And now, by the way, I know he's got a handshake deal in Minnesota, it sounds like, but now he has to prove it again.
Sure. If
he gets hurt, if he has a down year and only has 5 sacks, he keeps losing money.
Yeah.
Potentially. So, hey, hats off to him. I wish him the best, I guess. I wish the Jags could have found a way to keep him and resolve this thing. I wish it was Coughlin and just Coughlin and just his agent or something like that, and it could have been resolved because the Jags would have had something that people could get excited about for the next handful of years with Jan, Chason, and Josh Allen. And I know what you're saying. If you're cool with Jan gone, well, they still have Chason, they still have Allen, which is very good. And a lot of teams do that, and if you have 2, that's good.
Yeah.
But still, guys get hurt. We don't know what Chason's going to be. I still think this one stings. Believe it or not, more than Ramsey, and I was a big fan of Ramsey being here.
Well, see, and I agree because to me it stings a lot more than Ramsey because the whole Ramsey thing went down, right? He had the back issues, things like that, and I defended that. But then when you saw 2 first-round picks, yes, it was a little uneasy to see him go because he's such a great player. But it's like, well, 2 first-round picks, man, at least the drafts are going to be fun.
That's a hell of a compensation.
Exactly. When you look at Yannick Ngakoue and how this whole thing played out, yes, calling out, Tony Khan was uncharacteristic, I think, of Yannick Ngakoue. Now, whether that was his idea, his representative's idea, whatever the reason was, that was uncharacteristic. I don't think that's who Yannick Ngakoue was. And this isn't like a eulogy for Yannick Ngakoue or saying, hey, man, we're going to make, whatever, man. It's business and you're gone.
It is what it is.
But I'm going to say this, though. I think from a story perspective of the guy kind of being the underdog the whole time, coming in, earning his spot from a first-round pick in Dante Fowler, I think being a pillar in that locker room, I think being a big, high-energy type of guy and all that stuff and kind of having, quote-unquote, that dog in him, I think you have that guy. And keep in mind, stay true to the end, Brent. We talked about it.
He did.
Whether it's money or it's pride, some people are raised differently.
People call it stupidity.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, people call it stupidity, too, in there.
No, without a doubt.
I call it principle.
It's called principle. And you know what? He stayed true to who he is, so good for him for doing that. But this one stings to me.
Have done it.
No, for sure. For sure. But listen, some people just grow up differently. But with that being said, though, this one stings differently because at least with Jalen Ramsey, you're like, all right, 2 first-round picks. So this will be nice for the next couple of years. I see a 3rd-round pick I'm sorry, I see a second-round pick, and I see a fifth-round pick, and I'm just like, well, the second-round pick, whatever. The fifth-round pick, I don't know, man. You spent a fifth-round pick on Joshua Dobbs. You spent one on Carlos Hyde. How valuable are fifth-round picks besides myself? And Telvin Smith. But besides that, man.
In hindsight.
And in hindsight. But, yeah, good point. But with that being said, though, man, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Because I think you could have got more from. It's kind of like the Calais Campbell effect. Now, at least with the Calais Campbell effect, maybe money was an issue. Maybe him being on the back nine of his career was the issue.
Yeah, I think that was a calculated move.
Calculated move.
A bet. A little bit of a bet.
With this Yannick Ngakoue one, those aren't excuses here. Right?
No.
So that's why I got a bad taste in my mouth. I just feel uneasy about it, and I feel like you could have got more.
Well, and listen, I think it's fair to wonder if the Jags got the best years out of Jan because the production was super.
Sure.
It was tremendous.
And
he's going to have
consistent.
to do that 4 more years, the next 4 years, 37.5 sacks, all those sack fumbles, all that. Now, that'd be something. I mean, now he's building a Hall of Fame career. But there are people like Calais Campbell, who we talked to a bunch about this, who feel like he's on his way to a Hall of Fame career.
He's going to play in a good defensive line that's going to, have his back.
He'll
so
have
that
chances.
helps. Yeah,
He'll
for
have
sure.
chances.
Especially playing across from Daniel Henner, too, who's one of the, keep in mind, 2 pass rushers, 25 years old right now.
Well, they got him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got him.
It'll be interesting to watch the parallel, right? On a lot of these guys that leave. Do they have their best years after? Do they still have so much? Like Jalen's going to play well for a long time, you figure.
Yeah.
But how does the Jags, Josh Allen and K'Lavon Chaisson, can they outperform Danielle Hunter, and Ngakoue?
Sure.
It'll be a very interesting thing to at least follow to kind of gauge how bad did the Jags do here, or maybe they did okay. Maybe it was worth letting them walk. I got one more thing on the Jan front to kind of close this chapter of really, if we said. If the word that we've used the most on this show in 20 months has got to be Yannick Ngakoue.
Without a doubt, man.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And more than Minshew, more than Jaguars.
Yeah.
It's Yannick Ngakoue.
And I tweeted out, man, those Minnesota accents are getting ready to butcher that name, man. Oh, poor dude.
And actually, Zimmer even said it already in his news conference. He was like, by the way, it's Yannick.
I called it. I told you it's going to be a mess there in Minnesota. It's going to be an absolute mess.
And so we actually do owe a very big thank you and a sense of gratitude to Jan and the Jaguars for the first 20 months of this show.
I mean, some of the greatest hits, Brent.
It really is.
Some of the greatest hits.
I mean, we owe that. I mean
just think back about it.
Jalen Ramsey's on that short list. A thank you note will come someday. Probably a little Telvin Smith in there as well.
Yeah.
But a lot Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask this, though, because I was thinking about this. We like to blame people for when things go wrong. Jags are getting a plenty share of their blame, and they probably have earned it and probably deserve it. Mm-hmm. I think at times Giannis and his camp should be to blame in this. Who's to blame in this? And you can answer it however you want to answer it. But I think Tom Coughlin. Mm-hmm. I think Dave Caldwell, because he's the GM. I think maybe even Doug Marone to some degree, although it feels like he had a lot of hands off on this one, and the coaching staff still had a relationship with Jan. That was okay. I think the front office in terms of Shad Khan, Tony Khan are to blame for this.
Yeah.
I think Jan's agent and Jan, in terms of their camp, are to blame for this. My point being, as a guy who doesn't love to sit on the fence, I think everybody, when you have a 15-month saga and the twists and turns this took, I think everybody's got blame here. Did the Jags lowball him? Did they not give him enough? If you value a guy that you built, you groomed, you developed, do you value him enough to overpay him a little bit more and not try to get away with a deal? Well, you probably do, and you probably should, and you want to keep that guy. Did the Jan camp, in my estimation, start their pitch to say, I want out of Jacksonville too early? Absolutely. Yeah. Because you know why? I'll tell you why. It didn't work. It took them 15 months to get out. They didn't calculate it well. They miscalculated the market.
Yep.
They miscalculated maybe even his worth. Yep. And they miscalculated the timing.
And then they probably lost some money because of that.
And they've lost money over the last 2 years. That's crystal clear. They have lost money. Jan, by the way, has a lot of power in this. He's the guy in charge. You hire the agent to help, but he's the guy in charge. He's miscalculated. He's cost himself money, no doubt about it. And he did something foolish, and really months of foolish social media stuff. But the attack on Tony Khan was not smart.
No.
I mean, that was not a good move on his part.
Nope.
So there is plenty of blame to go around. That is the point. And by the way, Dave Caldwell, He came out and said he's our number one priority, and here we are on August 31st, and he couldn't get it done.
It's a good call.
And he couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
So he might have tried to save it, but he couldn't get it done. So everybody is to blame in something that takes this long. See, the Ramsey thing might be a little more clear-cut, and I'm sure there's blame to go around in that one, but it happened so quick. Yeah. This thing played out for 15 months, essentially, and they couldn't resolve until right now. There's a lot of blame to go around here.
Well, and you know how this world works, though, Brent. You can say everyone's to blame, but people don't buy that. You know, people want one forget a point. I mean, that's the world that we live in.
But I'm just spitting facts, as Jalen would say.
It is spitting facts, but at the end of the day, I look at it like this. I got to start at the top, and I got to trickle down, okay? Whether it was Tom Coughlin's fault, I still feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars are paying for Tom Coughlin's mistakes, even though he's gone. And it's no disrespect to Tom Coughlin as a man. I'm just saying Tom Coughlin, the way he ran the whole thing his second time around, I feel like they're still paying for those mistakes. Now, once again, you could go, well, who hired Tom Coughlin? Shad Khan did. So I got to start from the top, Brent. Like, yeah, is Yannick Ngakoue to blame his agent? You better believe it, man. Everyone shares blame here. But I got to start with the top, and I got to trickle down, because here's where we're at right now. And it's the one thing that I cannot stand doing this job, and it's the one thing I always stress about where I want to see a change. From the national media perspective, and it's not me really being sensitive, but I do care how the Jaguars come across to the country. I care how they come across to those ESPN reporters, because if they come across in a positive light, if they come across as an intriguing light, that's more shine for Jacksonville. And when you come across as a joke, when you come across as a laughing stock, that hurts your brand. I truly feel like that, right? So whether it's the Yannick Ngakoue trade, whether it's Leonard Fournette now, or whether it's the events that have transpired, which seems like for the past 10 years, I've been on the show for about 2 years, so let's just call it the past 2 years of the events that have happened here in Jacksonville. 9 times out of 10, set aside from a mustache, an Uncle Rico segment, and some jean shorts, it's been negative. And the Jaguars have been a laughing stock of the NFL. It's as simple as that. And I hate to see that. And Yannick Ngakoue getting traded for a second-round pick and maybe a fifth-round pick, and Leonard Fournette just getting released. You hear what they're saying about us, man. And once again, maybe I'm a little too sensitive in terms of, well, I don't care what they think. But I do, man, because I want to see Jacksonville shine. I want to see Jacksonville get their just due. And when you make moves like this, when you go through trials and tribulations like this, it puts it behind the 8 ball. And once again, the Jacksonville Jaguars right now, bad optics behind the 8 ball.
We're going to take a break. When we come back here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, we put a bow on a wild Monday, wild 48 hours. Back to some Leonard Fournette topics. Also, why it's dangerous to feel like people are the smartest guy in the room. And are the Jags in that dangerous territory right now?
Story of my life, Brent.
It reminds me a little bit of the guy who drafted you.
Careful now. Careful about, hey, don't be making fun of Papa Smith right now, man. Guy gave me a job. Careful, Brent.
We'll get there.
We'll see.
Plus, we're going to try this new thing called Give Me One Thing from the weekend. You got to give me one thing. Think about it. It's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Scattered showers and storms will continue into this evening with some heavy downpours at times as we drop into the 70s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jack's Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing.
Internal Revenue Service. When you owe a personal or business tax debt and can't pay, just hearing those 3 words brings feelings of fear and anxiety. I'm Jonathan David Suryash, Managing Tax Attorney at J. David Tax Law. Everyone knows that if you owe the IRS and don't pay, it's only a matter of time before tax liens, wage garnishments, or bank levies happen to you. The first step to resolution is our no-cost consultation. We take the time to go through your specific tax problem step by step. We explain exactly what your options are and how we will resolve your tax issue. J. David Tax Law is a local firm right here in Jacksonville, where only an experienced tax attorney will represent you. Our fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. If you have tax problems, call us now for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777, or find us on the web at jdavidtaxlaw.com. That's jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
The current coronavirus outbreak has caused difficulties for many of our area's small businesses. From losing customers to falling behind in payments, business owners need help. At SCORE, our highly trained counselors are here to help. In Jacksonville, SCORE provides services to almost 6,000 individuals annually. We are currently mentoring virtually and identifying possible financial assistance through the SBA and other resources. Visit jacksonville.score.org for links with more information.
Right now at Diamonds Direct, pick any piece of beautiful jewelry, get the best price, pay nothing down, and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. It's the easiest and smartest way to buy. 5 years, zero interest financing, and everything's included. From all engagement rings to all bands, bracelets, earrings, and pendants. Don't miss this encore offer for 2020. You can even finance the sales tax. 5 years, zero interest. Now for a limited time at Diamonds Direct. Approved credit. Get store hours, directions, and details now at diamondsdirect.com.
You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's Best Vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
Been dreaming of Subway tile and butcher block counters? Outdoor kitchens and pavers?
Oh, honey.
The weather's great and it's time to knock out those nagging home projects with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Borrow up to 90% loan to value and pay no closing costs. Best of all, we'll give you a free wheelbarrow. That's right, a free wheelbarrow. Apply today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Just please, no more shiplap.
With COVID-19, more local families than ever need food. Our seniors require extra support, and kids stuck at home could use something to smile about. A gift in any amount will make a big difference, especially when you give through Jewish Family and Community Services. Thanks to the Max Block Food Pantry Matching Challenge, your donation will automatically double. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for hunger, here for Jax. Learn more at hereforjacks.com.
Last chance for summer savings. It'll be your last chance to take advantage of 5 years, 0 interest in 2020.
This is the best deal of the summer.
Take advantage of Beard's lowest prices in North Florida on diamonds.
How about a $6,000 Takuri or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month. Or a pair of diamond studs for $3,000? You pay just $50 a month.
Hurry! Last chance for summer savings. Come in, see the difference. Save thousands.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Home Builders Institute is a national leader for career training in the building industry and provides students the skills and experience they need for successful careers. HBI training programs are taught in local communities across the country to youth, veterans, displaced workers, and other underserved populations. These programs do more than just provide job skills. They also build character and self-esteem, helping to provide students with the skills they need to succeed on the job and in life. Learn more at hbi.org.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence. Or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Brent Martineau.
Never heard of what happened in Iowa yesterday, and I don't even know how to pronounce the name of it. Derecho.
Austin Lane.
Iowa State Cyclones. Should call them the Derechos. You can shorten it up, call them the Chos. Why not, man? I'm into it.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Committee is a word that people use out there. I think that we have guys that have really good skill sets, that have really had good camps. I think we're going to, now we were able to hone in on that and really work on that. And that's why I think you see that was a big reason why, when people say why now, I think that's why, so now we can, hone that in, get that thing right, for us going into this season.
Well, that's Doug Marone. Basically, they can figure out who the heck their running backs are going to be. That's what that means.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah, it is.
That's essentially what it means. Here's the deal. They've got Divine Zigbo, who they like, but he played 10 games for 50 total yards last year, 3% of the offensive snaps. Raquel Armstead, 16 games, 252 total yards, 2 touchdowns, 14% of the total snaps. And Chris Thompson, who's primarily been a third down back in his career, has good production, 66 games, over 2,800 yards and 15 touchdowns. All they have to do is replace Leonard's 36 games, 3,640 yards, and wait a minute, what's this say? 83% of the offensive snaps. I mean, that's all they have to do.
No, it's not a big deal. You guys can do that. You guys are set. I'm sure you had a good look set in preseason, so you're fine. Oh, no, you didn't have a preseason game.
No.
Yeah.
We're going to have more on Leonard Fournette coming up. One thing about what Marone said, I can appreciate what they're doing in theory, at least what they're saying. I don't know how much they're doing it. Again, a lot of this is a little bit of rhetoric coming out of there. There's not much to say. I'm not blaming them for that. What do you say? Again, if you don't like a guy because there's some other things going on, do you throw him under the bus? No, that's not professional. So you get a little bit of this, what's really happening? So what they're saying is, we basically tried to say, hey, I don't care if you were drafted 4th overall, 6th round, undrafted. We're taking those resumes out of here, and we're just going to find the guys we like for this football team and we think we can work with and think we can play and blah, blah, blah. That's not – I'm just saying that's their approach.
Sure.
But you still can't tell me – you cannot convince me that even if you do that and you don't tell me Leonard Fournette played 83% of the snaps last year, ran for 3,600 yards or scrimmage yards in his career, picked 4th overall. If you take that away, I'm having a hard time figuring out that a Zigbo and Armstead are better than Leonard Fournette. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe they'll showcase it. But if you're just doing that and you took all the names off the jerseys and resumes off, I have a really hard time you telling me that Leonard Fournette's not better than those two guys. Mm-hmm. So that's where it doesn't add up.
No, without a doubt. And listen, that sounds great to say that you're not looking at last year's resume, but then why is Josh Allen so coveted right now? Why is Josh Allen supposedly the leader going forward? Why? Because of last year's resume. Okay? So don't tell me that you're not looking at Leonard Fournette's last year's resume. And that's not how it works in coaching either. Now, regardless, maybe you've overstayed your welcome. Regardless of last year's resume, wasn't that good. You're still, coaching Jacksonville Jaguars regardless. But I'm just saying, man, you take everything into account. Players get paid money. Players get new contracts after last year's resume. So don't sit here and tell me that Leonard Fournette's last year's resume had nothing to do with it.
All right. We're going to start this segment, okay? New segment. I want to do it on Fridays, too, and Mondays. It's called Give Me One Thing.
Give you one thing.
You got to give me one thing from the weekend.
Okay.
Or one thing from the last few days.
Okay. Well,
you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Okay, you go first. You go first. And I don't know what this is.
First.
Well, I don't know what we're doing. Okay,
go at the same time.
It doesn't have to be sports. Like Kuz,
okay.
I want Kuz to participate.
Okay, everyone's doing it.
And it's probably got to do with Kuz and how many she partied.
Well, how much does Kuz remember from the weekend?
That's it.
You're asking a lot of that guy.
Could be a segment.
You're asking.
How much does Kuz remember from the weekend?
Sponsored by Advil.
Right,
Check it out.
Let's keep this nice and clean right now because
let's hear yours
I've got
first.
a special guest.
Okay.
To help with my one thing. Give me one thing from the weekend.
Give me one thing from the weekend.
Is after 465 days of not going to school.
But who's counting?
Homeschooled last year. Tyler and Kaylee went to school today. Started high school.
Creekside.
Creekside High School. Started school.
Hey, it's a big day, man. Established dominance right away, you guys.
And first ever appearance.
It's a jungle.
First ever appearance on the show after the first day of high school. Here's Kaylee Brooke now. What's happening, Kaylee? How'd it go?
Hi. It was pretty good. There's a lot of talking from the teachers.
Did any trouble in day one? Did you find your classes?
Well, I found all my classes except for first period. I got a little lost because I didn't know that the classrooms, they're in quads, so they're grouped in fours. So I walked right by it 3 times. And the inside hallways are one-way hallways. So I had to go in a circle 3 times to actually find my classroom, and I had to ask a teacher for help. But other than that, it was pretty good.
Very good. Kaylee has a sense of direction of her dad, so that's good. She's got that going for her.
Showing up late just like her dad.
Kaylee, did Tyler get stuffed in a locker, and is he still there?
No, I don't think so. I think he's downstairs at home right now. I do not think he got stuffed in a locker.
A successful first
Sounds like he had a pretty good day.
Good, because Ty was going to stay home. That's the story. He didn't want to go necessarily until he got kind of talked into it last week.
So Kaylee was all about it. Ty was a little more hesitant.
Yeah.
All right, so Kaylee, obviously first day of school, fashion is a must. What are the kids rocking this year? What did you rock this year for your first day of school? What kind of shoes we talking about?
I wore some jeans with Vans, white Vans.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, Kaylee. All right, go on.
And I had a tie-dye blue Aeropostale shirt.
In. Those are in, Brent. tie-dyes in this year.
She went
Band
shopping.
shoes, too.
They stole the credit card a couple weeks ago.
Band shoes, too, right?
She
you
did.
Know how I feel about that, Brent.
She went to the Van Outlet.
Okay. I see. So are we talking, I'm talking the high top. I'm not done with the band's conversation. One second. I'm talking high tops or low tops, Kaylee?
Low.
There we go. I'm done now, Brent.
Here's the deal. Austin has not been to the Van store because he's still wearing them from 12 years ago.
Check those bad boys out, man.
They've got holes in them.
We still got about another 2 months of life
My
left
old
in them.
ones have holes in them, too.
Yes,
yeah, but this is
they fade fast.
This is a different story. Hey, Fred, you checking this out? Look at this over. This is a different story over here, though.
That's your whole foot's coming out.
Yeah, my whole foot's out of the shoe right now. It's all good, though.
The Kaylee Brooke, how was the mask wearing? And don't say anything bad about the school if it happened, but how was the mask wearing? How did it go?
It was pretty good. I mean, for most classes, once we got to like our desks, because we had the like the little dividers.
Yeah.
We could take them off. I think I could take them off for every class except for 2.
Okay, not bad.
Kaylee, how was like the whole lunchtime scene working? Like, do you have to social distance during lunchtime? Can you sit with your friends at the tables? How is that working?
Well, because you have to social distance more now. They added like a bunch of different spots where you can eat.
Okay.
So I ate in the gym with my friends because they added that this year. So I ate in the gym with some of my friends.
All right.
And like you have to sit in like there's smiley faces on like the bleachers, and you have to sit in like every other one. So
wait, you have to sit on the bleachers to eat lunch?
They spread it out.
Dang.
Yeah, they spread it out.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Last 2 questions, Kaylee. Sports related. Who will you miss more, Yannick Ngakoue or Leonard Fournette?
Leonard Fournette.
All right.
He's a fan fave.
Fan favorite, Leonard Fournette. Probably Kaylee went to Mellow Mushroom when Leonard Fournette was there, maybe. Definitely when Josh Allen was there. She got Josh Allen's autograph.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. And the Cubs, Kaylee, how are they doing?
Easy, Kaylee. Easy.
They did pretty good the other day. I think they had 6 or 7 home runs. The other day they won 10-1.
Yep. There you go. That was yesterday against the Reds, which is also a family favorite. So be careful what you say. Papa might be listening. And by the way, Kaylee, we call Kaylee Rizzo now because she changed her softball number to 44
for Anthony
Rizzo.
Give me a break, Kaylee. You're better than that. Get on that Christian Yelich bandwagon. He's making a comeback. MVP. Let's go.
All right, Kaylee Brooke. I'm glad his day at school was good. Hopefully, Ty's was better, and I know he won't say nearly as much when I ask him later tonight. We'll see you later at home.
All righty. Bye.
All right. That's Kaylee.
That's awesome, man. Got a little 4-1-1.
That's the most Kaylee's maybe ever talking.
She's excited.
To me.
First day of high school.
Most ever talked to me.
Dude, for first day of high school, she dominated, it sounds like. She killed it.
Pretty good. Give me
Good
one
stuff.
thing. What you got?
One thing then for the weekend, man. Listen, a little on a somber note, but Chadwick Boseman unfortunately passed away. Black Panther, as many know of him. He was also Jackie Robinson. You said you watched a movie with him actually this weekend. Not even a coincidence, but he was also James Brown and Get On Up.
I was watching it that night, man, and I really don't know the timing of it all. That would like HBO or whoever thrown that on but I mean I think it happened like we heard about his death during when I was watching the movie. I think it just happened to be on.
Yeah, I think they
and it was what a wild coincidence.
Yeah.
And listen, I honestly I've never seen Black Panther.
It's a great movie,
and
yeah.
I just don't know. I'm not a movie guy. I'm not an actor guy. And then I started looking up and watching more, but the reaction was unbelievable.
For sure. I mean, listen, Black Panther in itself was a historical movie, obviously, and that was led by Chadwick Boseman. And then you saw him, he's at the NBA dunk contest, and I forgot who used him. Was it somebody used him? Oladipo.
Was it?
It was Oladipo.
It was Oladipo used him, so he was kind of like this household name, goes on SNL, absolutely crushes it. So like Chadwick Boseman, because of Black Panther per se, but was really that household name. We really find out the story of what transpired in his acting career. So the guy had stage 3 cancer. And didn't tell anybody about it, and shot Black Panther, shot a bunch of movies, had to gain weight, had to lose weight, and never complained about it. And even to the point, and this is kind of the sad thing about it, where, the past couple months he posted some pictures on Instagram and on Twitter, and he obviously looked very skinny, and he looked sick, let's just say. And, you know how social media can get, so a lot of people made fun of him for that, saying like, "Dude, what do you look like that? Like you look crazy, And
but you never know in the acting world because he could be doing a part. Or
exactly, but but he never responded to it. Like he never gave it the time of day. He never said, hey, I have cancer. This was what, no. Never said anything about it. Took the high road, and obviously now, unfortunately, passed away due to cancer. But it goes to show you, man, you never know what people are going through, right? So just be careful how you go after people sometimes, because they be going through a whole lot more than you could even realize.
Incredible more you read on him, the incredible impact he had in 43 years of life and as an actor and in the industry is incredible. And not only that, by the way, passes away on Jackie Robinson Day, and he played Jackie Robinson in 42. So unbelievable. Sad story, but also a life that will be celebrated for years and years and years to come.
Without a doubt.
I think it was LeBron James who said we lost the Black Mamba and the Black Panther in the same year. He's like, 2020 is the bleepiest year ever. And I think many people would believe that as well. Give me one thing, Kuz. You got anything?
You're going to make me follow that up and look so selfish now.
No, that's okay. We need to bring up lighten things up a little bit.
The coronavirus has fully ruined the go around and just ask someone to help you jumpstart your car.
So what happened?
We went out to get dinner for the first time since March. Like, we were like, awesome. Let's celebrate our engagement, Nicole and I. We hadn't. Good. And I was like, restaurants are open. We just been eating at home. And I was like, let's do it. So we went out. We got a few drinks. Got some food. Actually got way too much food. We really overestimated. Then we get in my car, and I go to turn it on, and it's not turning on. I also don't have jumper cables, which I thought was I don't know. Like, a bunch of people
I don't
were like,
either, man. You're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people I
thought I only needed them up north.
Fair.
Oh, yeah.
So then I'm like, all right, well, what do I do? I can't just, like, go walk around this bar and be like, hey, can you help me jump my car? Like, that's weird. So I had to call a service to come, and we had to wait like an hour and a half in the rain.
So I'll make you feel really bad right now. 3 weeks ago, I'm at Publix on South Side. Go get my stuff, come back in my car, battery's dead.
Really?
Pop the hood. Not within 3 minutes, someone saw my hood up, stopped by, said, hey, man, do you need a jump? I'm like, yes, sir. Help me out, man.
How about that? That's awesome.
I didn't pop the hood. I just sat there.
You got to pop that hood, man. Let them know about it.
I just sat there and looked upset.
I heard about somebody else on Saturday at the Jags scrimmage, which, by the way, we didn't even talk about today. We'll talk about tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
But the Jags, football. We'll talk about Jags scrimmage. But I got over there, and I saw another media member, might be on a competitive radio station, and he said that he had to take an Uber over because his battery didn't work.
Dang.
I was like, so this is 3 of them. Now, the difference is,
hold on now.
I'm not offering you a ride back because I don't like you anymore. Everybody's got their issues.
That's how we do it. Bring the ESPN 690, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
But that's the whole thing is now I'm worried. I'm not going to, I'm leaving to come here like an extra 45 minutes because I don't know if my battery's bad or like what. Like,
do batteries get drained in the heat as much as they did like in the cold and stuff?
I don't know, man. I've been living in the heat a long time. Never really had any dead batteries. This is probably B-related somehow. I'll get to the bottom of it.
Thank you.
I'll get to the bottom of it, and I'll have the story related. And I'll have the story tomorrow for you guys. Stay tuned.
A lot to talk about Leonard Fournette, a lot to talk about Yannick Ngakoue and the Jaguars. Listen, there's a lot to solve here and a lot to unpack with the Jags. We'll continue to do it tonight on 1st and 10 training camp. It's 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. We'll continue to do it tomorrow as well. A lot of responses, and I want to get to some of those tomorrow. We'll keep the phone lines open tomorrow. We'll keep the phone lines open all the time so you can just jump in. Sometimes I give out the wrong number, but you can be a part of the show.
Well, and even not during the show hours. If they call star 690, they can leave a voicemail for us.
Absolutely. Leave a voicemail. We'll play it back. We love the participation. Thanks for hanging with us here on a Monday. It's been a wild couple of days in Jacksonville. We'll see if it gets better for the Jags, but probably no time soon. Here's the good news. The season starts in 13 days. Live, local, loud coming up next right here on ESPN 690 for Kuz Austin. I'm Brent Martineau. Thanks for hanging with us here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Max Kellerman.
Irresponsible leaders in this country have put us into a position where we're sort of in a post-truth world.
You've heard him on First Take, and now you get even more Max.
And